On a cold, snowy night in Buffalo, the Bills host the Baltimore Ravens in a Week 4 rematch. It just has about everything you might want in this showcase. Two Super Bowl level teams squaring off. Two quarterbacks battling out for the MVP and seeking their first Super Bowl title. And some snowfall expected over this weekend in Western New York. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen will square off tonight for the second time in their careers in the playoffs. Lamar led the Ravens to the AFC Championship game last season. Allen's Bills have fallen short of getting there each of the last 3 seasons, losing the last 2 divisional round games at Highmark Stadium to the Cincinnati Bengals and Kansas City Chiefs, 27-10 and 27-24, last year being wide right too. The Ravens also sent a message to the Bills in Week 4, demolishing them 35-10. An early season battle that helped them avoid a 1-3 start, the biggest loss in Buffalo history in 3 years. And the Ravens are the only team to beat them when the Bills played their starters by more than 3 points all season long. Both Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen were in good form in the wildcard round. The Bills outgained the Denver Broncos by 247 yards last week. The Ravens outgained the Pittsburgh Steelers by almost 200 yards, falling 16 yards shy of outgaining them by 200 yards, 464 to 280. Both defenses excelled, and which unit could do its best to slow down a dangerous offense could ultimately determine who wins here. And whoever comes out on top will face the winner. They'll face the winner. Not the winner. They'll face the Kansas City Chiefs. Initially was the winner of the Chiefs and the Texans, playing for a spot for Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, the site of the Ravens' last Super Bowl title in 2012. The Bills are still seeking their first rings and their first appearance since Jim Kelly was their quarterback, 31 years. Hello everyone, I am Alec Nava. Welcome to Highmark Stadium as new Highmark is still under construction amidst heavy snowfall. But that has not stopped Bills fans from cheering for their very franchise, the team in which they're proud for, the land of broken tables. Buffalo was down 3 starters on defense last time around, including both starting linebackers Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard. That meant that when the Bills went to a 3 linebacker set, they were playing 3 backups. Dorian Williams, Baylon Spector, and Nick Morrow. Granted, Williams was starting at that point, but as Milano had yet to be activated off the injured reserve. But neither of the other 2 players is on the current active roster. Morrow was cut and Spector is on the injured reserve. Milano and Bernardo have to play better than their respective reserves in order to stop the Ravens' rushing attack, or at least contain it. There are other ways the Bills can limit Baltimore's ground game. As we look at the keys to this game for both teams, beginning with the visiting Baltimore Ravens. And it begins with rinsing and repeat the formula for their offensive success throughout the season, running the ball. In the regular season matchup, neither Milano nor Bernard played, as well as Taron Johnson was their stud nickel corner. But against this particular brand of football, the Ravens like to play on offense. If they opt to deploy their nickel package, which is essentially their base defense, it would set up Lamar and Henry for similar level success this time around. Johnson played 89% or more of the Bills' total defensive snaps in 10 of the 13 games he has played, including the wild card round of the playoffs. While he's one of the best and most tenacious run defenders for the slot, against the Ravens' heavy personnel packages, he might not be any match for the big blockers he's going to meet in the trenches. On Friday, head coach John Harbaugh said that Zay Flowers had a chance to play, but he is ruled inactive for this game with the injury designation. The Ravens are poised to have a big day on offense because of how punishing their top-ranked rushing attack is for opposing defenses. Last week, the passing attack flowed for the dynamic tight end duo of Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. And the first matchup with the Bills, it was the running backs. A heavy mixture of both could be in store. Second is to make the Bills' offense one-dimensional. On the other side of the ball, the Ravens are set up for success given their strengths matchup with how Buffalo tries to attack opposing defenses. After racking up the second most rushing yards of the season in their wildcard win over the Broncos with 210, the Bills will no doubt try to establish the run and stay as balanced as possible after the game script from their first matchup forcing a demand of the run after falling behind 21-3. Unfortunately, for Buffalo, the Ravens defense has been the best at stopping the run all year, as they finished the regular season with the fewest allowed in total rushing yards, 1,361, yards per carry at 3.6, and yards per game at 80.1. Off a wild card victory, they outrushed their arch rivals by 270 yards because the defense gave up just 29 yards on the ground. By taking away or severely limiting the Bills' rushing attack, it will allow the pass rush to heat up and the second and third level defenders playing downhill in the short to intermediate passing game where the excellent open field tackling will limit big plays and first down conversions. Furnaces start fast and silence Bills Mafia. No matter how cold it is, Bills Mafia is going to be loud, fired up, and cheering on their home team. So the Ravens are going to expect a lot of noise when they're on the offense. The best way to get a rowdy home fan base quieted in the stadium, jump out to an early lead. Whether the Ravens get the ball first or second in the game, getting into an early rhythm and finishing drives in the end zone instead of settling for field goals will go a huge way towards neutralizing some of the Bills' home field advantage. There's nothing more demoralizing for an opposing defense on their home ground than having Derrick Henry run down through their throats in the ground game play after play for the second time this year. The more efficiently the Ravens can run the ball out the gate, the better it will be because the Bills' front seven will begin to wilt sooner and their third level defenders will have to make some business decisions or risk getting posterized by the future Hall of Famer. Fourth is to maintain rush lane integrity and lock down in coverage. Josh Allen has been the hardest quarterback to sack this season. It's a league low 14 such occurrences, but the only pass rush unit that managed to bring him down more than twice in a game was none other than the Ravens with 3 in week 4. They were disciplined in the rush lanes and they did not let him escape the pocket, limiting him to just 21 yards on 5 attempts in the previous matchup, and that's been the best in the league against quarterback scrambles. The Ravens are coming off a 4-sack performance in the wild card round and have recorded multiple sacks in every game this season. Even if they can't bring down Allen behind the line of scrimmage for a loss, keeping him from gashing them with his legs will be as vital to their success. Another aspect of his game they will be aware of and trying to limit is extending playmaking abilities. Much like their own dual threat in Lamar Jackson, Allen has kept a passing play alive longer than most, of a knack for making spectacular throws into tight windows and buying his targets time to uncover late during scramble drills. In plastering coverage is something that's been preached in Baltimore since Ben Roethlisberger was shrugging off would-be sacks for nearly 2 decades. The Ravens defense allowed just one extended passing play of over 30 yards in the first matchup, and to avoid getting into a potential shootout, they will have to make sure it doesn't happen on several occasions. And continue to avoid self-inflicted wounds and unforced errors is another point of emphasis. After being the most penalized team in the league for most of the regular season, the Ravens have been a lot more disciplined against playoff teams since their post-bye winning streak started. They were flagged just twice for 10 yards in their second match of the season against the Steelers, 3 times for just 14 yards against them in the wildcard round, and 3 times for 30 yards against the Texans on Christmas Day. Being disciplined in all 3 phases of the game is huge in the playoffs where the margins of error are at their slimmest. A negated chunk gain on offense, unearned first down given up on defense, or favorite field position either given or taken away could loom large if a game were to go down to the wire and decided by a score or less. Plus, focusing on being more disciplined before and during plays, the Ravens have emphasized the importance of taking care of the ball and not giving their opponents momentum in a short field where they could use to potentially beat them. They've gone nearly 2 months without committing a turnover, and their 11 total in the regular season were the 3rd fewest in the NFL. On Sunday, up against the Bills defense that finished with the 2nd most takeaways in the NFL with 32, that's a fact they're keenly aware of and prepared to come back high-temp ball security and good decision making. Now for Buffalo and what to watch with them. Of course, it is Josh Allen being the end-all be-all. Buffalo can slow the Ravens' ground attack by maintaining possession on offense and by scoring a lot of points. If the Bills have the football for long drives that end in touchdowns, they can eat away at parts of Baltimore's offensive playbook by dictating the game script. That involves Josh Allen having a stronger showing than he did in the first meeting. He was 16-29 for 180 yards in the first matchup. There were a few throws he liked back, and while his receivers dropped the few that he thrown perfectly, it wasn't a strong game for him. Part of the reason for that was that he and the offensive line failed to diagnose the pressure packages before the snap. Too often he appeared confused by the Ravens' alignment, and that led to free rushers, pressure, and hurried throws. The Bills were also protecting him at that point, limiting his rushing given that he was playing with a fractured left hand. Allen needs to do a better job understanding what he's seeing before the snap so that he can see the offense and set them up for success after the snap. If he can do that while maintaining the same deadly efficiency he showed against the Broncos, and the Bills have a great chance at victory. Second is James Cook. Let him cook, they say. He might be Buffalo's best mismatch against the Ravens. He can beat them as a runner and as a receiver from multiple spots on the field. If he's one-on-one for linebacker, that's a win for the Bills. If he's one-on-one for corner, also a win for the Bills, because that means someone else is a mismatch against the linebacker. Cook was in a dynamo situation. He was dynamite. 120 yards and a score on 23 carries. Wasn't targeted in the passing game for the first straight week. The only other game this season that he didn't see a target was against the Tennessee Titans. Allen used Ty Johnson as go-to receiver out the backfield so late. It'll be a good week for that to change, especially if Baltimore plays as much man as they did in the first meeting. Third is Keon Coleman. Last weekend it was Curtis Samuel as the guy who needs to step up and have a game. He did that, with leading the Bills in receiving yards thanks to a 52-yard touchdown catch. This week is the rookie who needs to have a measure of vengeance. Coleman caught 2 long passes when he was one-on-one with Brandon Stevens, but it's the one he dropped that likely sticks out as mine. He could have set Buffalo up in prime position to score before halftime, but he had a perfect pass has go off his hands. There were arguments that Amari Cooper has to be the major force, but if he matches up against Marlon Humphrey, we could see the Bills issue targeting Cooper yet again. Coleman has a chance to stretch the field vertically, and if Baltimore goes those single high looks, it's something the Bills will need to do. Fourth is Greg Rousseau. It could be mentioned about the linebackers, or maybe the defensive tackles. However, with as much read options the Ravens run, it's essential that the edge players maintain discipline in the rush swings, reading the keys while trying to force whatever outcome the defense desires on their given call. Rousseau is the Bills' best edge defender, someone who likely won't be the person Baltimore puts in a bind via the read option. Chances are good that they'll likely target the other side, AJ Epinesa, Dwayne Smoot, or Von Miller, respect to Javon Solomon. This isn't a game where it would be expected to see him much. That could help the defense. The edge player opposite Groot should know how to be prepared for the read option look. Groot being Greg Rousseau. If the Ravens were to look at this, they wouldn't run it much at Rousseau, who is an excellent run defender with a ridiculous wingspan. Bobby Babich, first-year defensive coordinator, should use that to his advantage and try to flood the opposite side of an extra linebacker or safety in the box. If it forces Baltimore to run at their best edge defender, that's a win for the Bills. And last week, Tyron Johnson. Watch for him on any given matchup. How he'll fare against the big body Baltimore front. Will he be the player who comes out the field when Buffalo goes free linebacker sets? Johnson's absence was huge in October. While much of the focus of stopping the run has rightfully centered on Buffalo's front seven, the corners are vital to contain the run game too. He's one of the better run-fit guys in the league, and pound for pound, he's one of the better run defenders in football. The Bills could use him in plenty of creative ways this week, and the Bills hope that that's the case. Possibly a spy option, as a blitzer, as a safety, as a hybrid linebacker slot corner in this weekend. The Ravens are taking the field right now. We're now going to our starting 11s for both sides, starting with the visiting Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson under center. Derrick Henry is the running back. Outside receivers are Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace, no Zay Flowers as he is inactive of an injury. Nelson Aguilar in the slot. Mark Andrews is the tight end. Offensive line from left to right, Ronnie Stanley, Patrick McCarry, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Faalele, and Roger Rosengarten. On defense, they're starting 11. Up front are Travis Jones and Nnamdi Madubuike. Outside edge rusher Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Owe. Inside linebackers are Malik Harrison and Roquan Smith. Outside corners are Nate Wiggins and Brandon Stevens with Marlon Humphrey in the slot. Deep safeties are Darius Washington and Kyle Hamilton. Marcus Williams is an inactive. Kickers Justin Tucker. Punters Jordan Stout. Long snappers Nick Moore. Return men are Justice Hill and Steven Sims Jr. Inactives for them are the aforementioned Zay Flowers, Marcus Williams, Bo Braid, Adisa Isaac, Josh Tupou, Nick Samak, and Rasheen Ali. For Buffalo, starting 11 up front. On the offense, Josh Allen under center. James Cook is the running back. Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper is the outside receivers. Khalil Shakir in the slot. Dalton Kincaid is the tight end. Offensive line from left to right, Deion Dawkins, David Edwards, Connor McGovern, Osiris Torrance, and Spencer Brown. On defense, their starting 11 is like this. Greg Rousseau and AJ Epinesa at the edges. Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver up front. Linebackers beginning with Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard. Outside corners are Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford. Slot corner Taron Johnson. Deep safeties Taylor Rapp and Damar Hamlin. Kickers Tyler Bass, punter Sam Martin, long snapper Reed Ferguson. Returnmen are Ray Davis and Khalil Shakir. Inactives for them, Jalen Virgil, Mike White, Ryan Van Denmark, Cedric Van Brand Granger, Dwayne Carter, Brandon Codrington, and Kyer Elam. Emergency for quarterback Mike White, if he is to be trusted in that spot. We have the playoff picture updated, and we have three of the four Championship Sunday teams determined. The Kansas City Chiefs waiting for the winner of this game. The NFC Championship game is an Interstate 95 showdown between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. An NFC East rivalry revisited. The Eagles swept the divisional series showdown among the two NFC East teams. Well, actually didn't sweep. It was the Eagles winning the first one. The Commanders won the second one. Philadelphia winning at home. Washington winning at home. Eagles won on Thursday Night Football 26-18. Washington won on a come-from-behind victory 36-33. Jalen Hurts exited that game. It was a game-winning touchdown for Washington. A magical play as well as the Bills are ready to take the field. There's Josh Allen in the royal blue jersey. Baltimore and Buffalo facing off. The last time the Commanders faced the Eagles, Jaden Daniels and Jamison Crowder. Who remembers that? It's a blockbuster between two MVP candidates, the AFC's third seed and the AFC North champion, up against the AFC second seed and the AFC East champion. Records of 12-5 for the Ravens, 13-4 for the Bills. Last time these two teams faced in the playoffs, the Bills won. As Lamar Jackson exited the game due to injury, Tyler Huntley had to replace him in the AFC Divisional Round showdown. Either the Ravens or Bills will travel to Kansas City to face the two-time defending champion Chiefs. It was a 17-3 Bills victory in the third quarter. Two touchdowns out there, one from Stephon Diggs, 3 yards out. The other from Taron Johnson, a 101-yard pick six off Lamar Jackson, as the Ravens' ground attack was held to 150 yards. The Bills had 32 yards rushing, but it was the defense that held firm for Buffalo to shut down the Ravens. Lamar Jackson finished with 162 passing yards in that game before he left with the injury. Huntley filled his place, 6 of 13, 60 yards. Jackson was 14 of 24. Leading receiver for the Ravens that night was Hollywood Brown with 4 catches for 87 yards, no touchdowns. For the Bills, it was Stephon Diggs, 8 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Smokey Brown with 8 catches for 62 yards to help out Buffalo, as Allen finished with 206 passing yards. No other Bills receiver had over 20 receiving yards. Dawson Knox was the next closest, 2 catches, 18 yards. It is very cold, and the weather is going to be a factor here on the night. It is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Derrick Henry coming up a wild card showdown, which he had 26 rushes for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. A battle of stalwart high-end duos. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry up against Josh Allen and James Cook, as Henry shook off the first option, but that was a read option as Lamar was dynamite. Read options are what John Harbaugh and Todd Monken specialize at. And Derrick Henry was on one as he made an absolute fool out of the Steeler defense. The NFL playoffs, where anything can happen. So we'll recap what has happened throughout the last game. And the Eagles winning 28-22. The Rams tried to come back, but they wasted so much time on their last play. Got the last play up with 5 seconds to go, as Matthew Stafford was sacked 5 times in that game. Jalen Hurts sacked 7 times. Stafford finished 26-44, 324 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 19 carries for 106 yards. he was the only running back the Rams used. Puka Nacua with 6 catches for 97 yards. DeMarcus Robinson, 3 catches, 74 yards. Cooper Kupp with 5 catches, 61 yards. Tyler Higbee had 7 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown. The other receiving touchdown went to Colby Parkinson with 2 catches for 9 yards. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts finished 15-20 for 128 yards. Saquon Barkley went off for 26 carries, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns, putting on an MVP caliber showcase. There were 2 fumbles from the Eagles, one by Jalen Hurts that was recovered by Kenneth Gainwell. Cooper DeJean recovered his own fumble. The Rams had 2 turnovers, both of them being fumbles. One lost by Stafford, the other lost by Kyren Williams, though Stafford fumbled twice. Those fumble recoveries went to Zach Bond and Isaiah Rodgers. 3 passes broken up by Darius Slay Jr. Big play Slay, as they call him. 2 sacks from Jalen Carter. 3 QB hits for him as well. 2 pass breakups for Isaiah Rodgers in the game as well. The closest they were to interceptions. Cooper DeJean, speaking of such. 2 sacks for Jared Verse as he wants to make his Defensive Rookie of the Year case. 3 tackles for a loss and 2 QB hits. 1 sack each from Omar Speights, Kobe Turner, Jalen McCullough, Neville Gallimore, and Braden Fisk. For Philadelphia, the sacks coming from Carter, 1 each from Nolan Smith, Moro Ojomo, and Jalix Hunt. A fight for the tops and for the AFC Championship game, and a shot at going to New Orleans, the Jazz City. The French Quarter, of course, is awaiting the winner of Eagles Commanders and the winner of Chiefs and Bills/Ravens. The Mahomes versus Allen rivalry, a notable one. These two have met 3 times in 4 years in the playoffs. Mahomes has won every single one of them. It could be argued that Allen may be due for beating Mahomes at one point. Lamar Jackson is also due at a Super Bowl. He believes that both quarterbacks believe that this is their time. It's a shame that one team has to be eliminated at this spot. Josh Allen, who is believed to be the MVP frontrunner by Week 15, saw the MVP conversation shift from him to Lamar Jackson by the end of the season, as Lamar made a serious push by the end and may have taken that crown. Discuss more on NFL awards later. Though if I were to give my list, MVP to Lamar Jackson, Offensive Player of the Year to Saquon Barkley, Defensive Player of the Year to Pat Surtain, Offensive Rookie of the Year to Jaden Daniels, Defensive Rookie of the Year, it's close, but I'll give the edge to Quinyon Mitchell over Jared Verse. Coach of the Year, it's close between Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell, but I'll give it to O'Connell in the end. And Assistant Coach of the Year, Brian Flores. We're at Highmark Stadium at Orchard Park, New York, right next to the site where the pit is at, also known as New Highmark. The rallying cry being shout by the Eiley brothers, in which they adjust the latter part of "Hey" to "Let's go Buffalo." It is 18 degrees Fahrenheit here in Buffalo. Snow flurries are here. It feels like 12 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind chill is notable. So expect a lot of running plays. But the last time there was snow in a playoff game here in Buffalo, it was the Bengals coming out on top, 27-10. Bills Mafia is ready. Only one of these teams will come out on top and will punch their ticket to the city of barbecue in the Midwest, Kansas City, Missouri. There's a Kansas City, Missouri, and a Kansas City, Kansas. KCK being the abbreviation for the Kansas side of Kansas City, KCMO being the Missouri side. And it might come down to a make, possibly. Expect a heavy defensive game because whenever you see snow, This is the type of game that defenses would love to have. Tyler Bass will get set to kick it off to Justice Hill and Steven Sims Jr. 130 combined touchdowns between two teams, the most every playoff game all time, and 19 combined turnovers by both offenses, the fewest entering a playoff game all time. Keaton Mitchell is back deep. Kick is up. Let's get rocking and rolling here at Buffalo in the 7-1-6. Returning this is Keaton Mitchell, the son of Anthony Mitchell, who was part of the Super Bowl 35 winning team for the Ravens when they won it with Ray Lewis and Brian Billick. 6 seconds deep, they'll bring out Lamar Jackson. Interesting story. Every Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Ravens won the Super Bowl when they were 28 years old. Trent Dilfer won it when he was 28. Joe Flacco won it when he was 28. Lamar Jackson is 28. So he is 2-2 against Buffalo, regular season and postseason. Won the last matchup the last time these two faced. There was more about a run-heavy game, and now that he has the running back that he wants, does he have the advantage this time around and the last laugh? Mark Andrews was in motion, left and right. First play is indeed to Derrick Henry. Buffalo stymie stat. Ready for it, and guess who was there? Greg Rousseau, the guy I profiled, that is the best run stopper along the defensive line for the Bills and trying to contain Derrick Henry. What the Ravens ideally want to do is run it away from Greg Rousseau. You don't want to go his direction as he has an incredible wingspan. Just 1 yard on that first play, 2nd and 9. First on the run, 7th on the pass. They have the top-ranked offense overall. The Bills are used to slow starts, but they heat up along for the way. Henry for the left this time around. And the Bills gave him nothing there. And Bobby Babbitt's defense minding the gaps this time around. That sparks a question. Do the Ravens switch things up and go read option or play action on 3rd and 7? 3rd and 8 as it was 1 yard again. Babbage is upstairs with Joe Brady. The two coordinators like to call the plays with the upstairs. Bills crowd loud here as they get set on 3rd and 8. Isaiah Likely out here on his jumbo set. 12 personnel. Play clock at 3 as Aguilar motions left. Lamar is going to look. Hurried up by Oliver. Now moves up in front. Has an entourage with Justice Hill right through him. And gets the first down. With Taron Johnson wrapping him up. There's the mask of Lamar Jackson. It was not a read option, but it was a scramble as he was hurried up by Ed Oliver. Quick work by this Bills defense as they get to work against a mobile quarterback. It was a run as everyone was covered in tight, and the Bills were caught off guard. One of the worst third down defenses in the league. Baltimore's the first team in NFL history to have a 1,000-yard rusher and a 2,000-yard rusher all time. Jackson holding it, being pressured, gets it away as he got it off, and a drop pass here. It was Derrick Henry on a wide open lay at the left side as Lamar was running for his life away from Von Miller and Damar Hamlin. Super Bowl MVP when he was with the Broncos. This is a rare mistake by Henry as he had that one right there for him wide open and he dropped it. Snow is falling down here in Buffalo. Baltimore has the ball. Do the Bills come away with a defensive stop? Lamar Jackson keeps it on the play fake for Justice Hill. Takes a deep shot. Wide open! Isaiah Likely shy the 20-yard line. Baltimore makes up for the drop and it's 39 yards. The chance of that catch here being likely 80%. Likely's legs got by for the Bills defense as he dissected a busted coverage. There was nobody there, and as Lamar saw him speeding right by, nothing. It was a busted coverage as the Bills were going zone. 6 touchdowns for Likely as he had career highs all across the board, receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Henry gets 2 on this first play from scrimmage right after the first down from Likely. Right into the arms of Austin Johnson as he tried to power through. coming up with a different plan is what the Bills need to do here defensively. They have question marks there, as Henry had totaled 186 rushing yards in the wild card round against the Steelers, with 2 touchdowns to go with that. Justice Hill and Rashad Bateman, the receiving touchdowns for the Ravens. 4 rushes, 2 passes, 52 yards on this drive that's taking over 3.5 minutes. Aguilar motions left, play fake for Henry. Lamar keeping, dumping it out for the right side, and a low double move as Likely powers up. Shy at the first down as Hamlin was there. That's Damar Hamlin. Another Hamlin, beginning with the first name with the letter D, Denny, will be at Daytona International Speedway in a month. Try to win his 4th Daytona 500 for Joe Gibbs Racing. 3rd and 3. Lamar going hurry up here. Bills trying to get to him as the time is running out. To the end zone! Touchdown! Rashad Bateman! The Ravens begin this game with a bang! That took 4 minutes and 20 seconds for the Ravens to find Painter, and Bateman, who has a career-high 11 receiving touchdowns, has found the smoke in the back of the end zone. He is on fire. 4 rushes, 4 passes, 73 yards as he was wide open. Justin Tucker nails the extra point, and Lamar Jackson is on a tear, going for the score as the wide open route was right there on the slant. Bills ball when we return. Buffalo starts to have a bang here, and the snow flurries are continuing to fall down here. Everyone's starting to cover themselves up here, preparing themselves for the snow, as most of this crowd is at. Justin Tucker getting set to kick off. It's a 35-10 win for the Ravens in the last time they met, as the Bills will not return this. There's a knee at the back of the... There's a knee at the end zone by Ty Johnson. who is filling in the place of Brandon Codrington, who would normally be the return man. Josh Allen is the only player with 250 plus passing yards per game and 50 plus rushing yards per game in NFL postseason history. History is being rewritten all over the place as we continue to go on this journey. 272 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns in the wildcard round against Denver. The next game will be at Kansas City for either one of these two teams, whether it be the Ravens or the Bills. Changing up the play here as there are 3 receivers to the left on this first play. Khalil Shakir motions towards the right side. Josh Allen on a play fake for James Cook. Airing this towards the left side for Howlands, too high. Between 2 Baltimore defenders, the ball was a little overthrown. Howlands was going to the flat, then goes towards that wheel route at the left side. 2nd and 10. Buffalo's readying up. Buffalo's the only team in NFL history of at least 30 passing and rushing touchdowns each in a regular season. Ravens defense got better in the second half of the season, and they're riding it hot right now. James Cook against the best run defense in the league gets just 2 yards. Wallowed up. And Nnamdi Madubuike was right there to shut him down. Offensive lines looked the same for the most of the part for Buffalo throughout the season. They allowed a league-low 14 sacks of Josh Allen. The only team to sack him more than twice in a single game, the team they're facing right now, the Ravens. 5 minutes gone here in the first quarter as motioning left is Ty Johnson. On an empty set, 3 right and 2 left. And motioning left now is Khalil Shakir. Allen on 3rd and 8. Allen waiting, airing this out for the middle, leaping up for the catch, Khalil Shakir. His setup in Raven territory. He got behind the secondary and nabbed the Bills $34. Between 2 safeties. Down for the middle, past the Bills logo as he dissects this coverage right by Brandon Stevens, who was the close defender. Through the middle, Ty Johnson splits the gap and gets 8. Maybe 9. It will depend on the spot. And a smart run by Johnson as they took it shotgun up through the middle. And Baltimore's offense being built on the run, the defense similarly built to stop the run. And that'll get the Ravens a chance to do work to shut down the Bills, but Josh Allen can certainly make things interesting. 2nd and 2.5 here. Single back set with Cook being the lone running back in the backfield. Cook going up front, he runs into a wall. There was nothing there for him to maneuver. It'll be a yard, it'll be 3rd and 1. And controlling the line of scrimmage is key for both sides, especially the Bills, as they're facing a top-notch Ravens defense. This is their biggest test so far. They beat the Chiefs in the regular season, yet the Chiefs have beat them every time in the playoffs between the Mahomes and Allen eras. 3rd and 1, shotgun set with Ty Johnson. Allen on the keeper. It's going to be munched up. Loss of half a yard by Tavius Robinson, as he was right there to stop him, Johnny on the spot. There was no way for Buffalo to escape that as Baltimore's run defense stood firm here. And the surf technique up front. Our referee is Carl Sheffers. Alternate referee is Len Cork. And off note, John Hussey is an alternate back judge. Buffalo is 17-20 on 4th and short, regular season and postseason. If there's a good chance to make it here, it may be right now. Empty set for Josh Allen, 3 left and 2 right. Design QB run for Allen. 1st down inside the red zone. At the 19-yard line. And Buffalo is still up and going. When you think they're down for the count, nobody does more tackle pulls than Deion Dawkins towards the inside to set up design quarterback runs. It was up the middle as Allen led the way. That's why they call him Mr. Do-It-All. He had that marvelous 29-yard touchdown run against the Chiefs earlier on the season, week 11, and he beat them 30-21. This is Cook on the handoff towards the left side. Beats out Marlon Humphrey for the edge. Washington there. Wraps him up. And will look to be just a 1-yard gain turned into an 8-yard gain. Excellent rushing from Buffalo. And a great job by Cook on recognizing everything was closed off to the inside. Humphrey tried to reach out towards his shoulder pad. But that was a little risky and tried to grab him for the dreadlocks, which is painful. Oof. 2nd and 2. A methodical drive for the Bills here. 6 rushes and 2 passes. 59 yards so far. They only need 11 more yards for Pater as Khalil Shakir is set in motion. This is Cook one more time. Still going and has another first down. These two teams have found the red zone in their opening possessions. And the Bills are so close to potentially tying this game up. Of note, Mac Hollins is starting over Amari Cooper, but don't count out the usage of Cooper. Was acquired from the Cleveland Browns earlier in the season, near the trade deadline. And Israel was a response from the Bills, from the Jets acquiring Davante Adams. The Jets season turned out to be a train wreck and a half. The Bills, they preserved in what was supposed to be a down year for them. Cook back again with this. 1 yard short. As he was up the middle, stopped on the shotgun, and Connor McGovern was hit and walloped. Malik Harrison made the stop to force the Bills into a 2nd and goal situation from 1 yard out. And a quarterback sneak could work here at some point, maybe. Ray Davis is now the running back. James Cook led them to the spot. Hollins still in. Curtis Samuel lined up towards the left. Hollins motions towards the left side with Humphrey trailing him. Ray Davis, touchdown! Punches it in from 1 yard out. And the counter punch show is on. Excellent blocking by Khalil Shakir to get Ray Davis the hole and to force the missed tackle at that right side. Shakir closed off the lane for the Ravens to get through at that right side. 9 rushes on this opening drive for Buffalo. And it will be a tie game pending the extra point from Tyler Bass, in which he nails it. 4:43 to go in the opening quarter. Ray Davis answers the call from Rashad Bateman. And we are even up at 7. The Bills want to make the Mafia shout. We'll be right back. This divisional playoff game being already a thriller to watch. Both teams have scored, and there is a lot more to come. Don't expect the scoring to stop. Expect this to be back and forth. Expect this to be electric. Kick us off on Tyler Bass. Steven Sims is back deep to return. And that is Keaton Mitchell once again. Oh my word! Blown up at the 28. It is so sizzling over here. Reggie Gilliam with the boom. And Dorian Williams as well. Baltimore stopped short the 30 where they would have been had it been for a touchback, but nonetheless, Buffalo, they had concerns about their special teams. They're too small. Well, there's a hit stick. Mac Hollins had a hit stick last week, and that inspired this special teams to be applying more hit sticks. Henry crowded up, and Oliver right there, and so are Daquan Jones and Damar Hamlin. That was a booming and crush right on Derrick Henry as everyone collapsed the interior. No, there was no room to maneuver. It was not a read option that time around as Buffalo's defense gets set on 2nd and 11. This is an extended huddle here. It appears that this Ravens offense wants to have a trick up their sleeve. Likely in motion, here's Lamar. Clean pocket. Airs this through the right side. Intercepted! Tyler Rapp at the pass was too high for Rashad Bateman. The Rapp attack with a huge pick for Buffalo, and they'll get back the ball. Lamar overthrew it, and we'll be right back with you from Buffalo with the Bills in possession. Lamar Jackson, a native of Pompano Beach, Florida. Josh Allen, a native of Fireball Beach, California. And these two drafted in the first round, the same draft class. Allen 7th overall, Jackson 32nd overall with the last pick of the first round. Pick number 7 and pick number 32, the last remaining players. Two of the 4 players are still active in the NFL playing in their quarterback draft class. Baker Mayfield with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings drafted by the New York Jets as Matt Collins motions left and right. Allen fakes the bootleg, now dumps off towards the middle for Kincaid. 1-4 for the first down as he was wrapped up by Harrison. 10 yards exact, and that will move the chains. Allen and Jackson are the only two quarterbacks from their draft class to remain with their teams that they were drafted by. As Jackson was way off target for Rashad Bateman. A miscommunication to the right side. As Rappy's getting healthier by the weeks. And right now he is back at full health. He missed the Week 15 win over the Detroit Lions with Damar Hamlin. As Cam Lewis and Cole Bishop filled in their place. Hamlin and Rapp impressing as the two starting safeties. Cook eaten alive by Robinson. The run defense making their statement here for Baltimore, and that forces a loss of 2. And the playoffs showed that these types of atmospheres are something that Josh Allen wants to go at his best. Lamar Jackson's walking up and down. We'll have to see how he is. He might be a little hobbled after taking the hit last time around. 2nd and 12 here for Buffalo. Tailback is Ty Johnson. Shakir motions left. Allen with the Ravens rushing 4. Throws it off quickly to the right side for Samuel. Wrapped up by Chris Board. Flags are down. Samuel had the longest reception last week against the Broncos. There are flags down. It's a hold against the Bills. That's going to be the left tackle Deion Dawkins, one of the most penalized players in the NFL, as he was grabbing onto David Ojabo. Oh, that's not a hold. That was not a hold. That does not look like a hold at all. Ojabo just simply slipped up. Now it's 2nd and 22 instead of 3rd and 3. The penalty's accepted. There is a jump. There is a jump. Odafe Owe was a little too jumpy and excited to get the action going. Fell for the hard count, and that gets 5 yards of the penalty on Dawkins' back. Owe was the first one to jump. And as Spencer Brown pointed out, Owe moving early. 2nd and 17. It is now a more manageable situation. 7.8 penalties per game in the regular season for the Ravens, tied for second most in the NFL, but they were more disciplined as the season rode along. 1:42 to play here in the first quarter. Empty set, Allen. Ravens blitz. He's trying to get away. Cannot. Right there on the spot. Roquan Smith. Oh, there was a late push. Is there a flag going to come out? No. It was Kyle Van Noy who made the stop. That was not supposed to be a push late. But it looked like a late shove. That should have been unnecessary roughness. And Matabike got away with one there. 3rd and 17. On the right side are 3 receivers. Allen fakes the throw. Now launches a deep one for Knox. Way off target. It was closer towards Kyle Hamilton. And Allen was hit as he threw it. And now set out Sam Martin to punt. 48 seconds to go in the first quarter. So the interception by Taylor Rapp resulted in a nothing burger. Both defenses had their say in this. Allen was rushed. You had to have separation up for the right side. That time it wasn't. Martin's averaging 46.7 yards per punt. Steven Sims Jr. with 21 punt returns, averaging 5.8 yards per punt return. Ball will be snapped from the 47.5, and Martin, this is a short kick, it seems. Sims is going to call for a fair catch. He slides for the snow. And the Ravens will start from the 9-yard line. So the interception didn't result in anything. Sims wearing the number 18. 41 seconds to go. will be going to break right here. Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, starring in the movie 1923, will be streaming on Paramount Plus. New season starting February 23rd on the TV show. Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, the Paramount Plus original. 18 degrees Fahrenheit here in Orchard Park. Winds blowing east-northeast at 5 miles an hour. Snow flurries are flowing down here at the stadium. 41 seconds to go here in the first quarter. How does Buffalo respond on defense? Charlie Kolar, the third tight end here in this game. Buffalo's pointing for a false start. There is none. It is a run with Derrick Henry. He's going to break loose. Gets to that second level where he's brought down right around for a first down. This formation has worked wonders for the Ravens. The I formation with Patrick Ricard, the fullback, setting the lane up. And once the lane opens, good luck with that. As Henry saw it, and then right through the middle. It is 9 yards here. 2nd and 1. It's been imposing the will on the Ravens. The Ravens have been imposing their will on their opponents. They don't need to run a play here to end off the first quarter. What they may want to do is try to draw the Bills off sides. Mark Andrews motions left. Justice Hill is the running back. They are running a play to end the first quarter. They got a first down here. Hill to the outside. And he goes out of bounds to end it. And that was 9 yards on that second run. Henry got 10 yards. Hill was forced out by Christian Benford. Snow is falling down. We'll see how it transpires here in this second quarter when we return. Tied at 7 after 15 minutes of play. Alec Nava here with you. We'll be right back. Highmark Stadium for the start of the second quarter. New Highmark getting set to begin operations for next season. It is currently under construction. Capacity is set to be less than what it is here for the old Highmark Stadium. 2nd and 1. Ravens in a double shotgun formation with running backs to left and right. Justice Hill to the left, Patrick Ricard to the right. It is Hill on the option play. It is a first down and still going as he's still going with the ball. Shy at the 40-yard line. In their own zone still. That is 11 yards for Hill. Terrell Bernard. The stop. Second rush of this game for Hill. You can expect that the Ravens are going to break it open if they continue with this. Continue keeping the Bills off the field. 42-35, the rushing yards advantage in favor of the Ravens. Passing yards 60-44, also in favor of the Ravens. For a 102 to 79-yard advantage. Christian Benford backs up several yards. This will be man coverage, I believe. Motioning left is likely. Lamar looking to escape the pressure. He got away from potential sackers. First down here as he runs for it. Oh my goodness. Did he ever get clobbered hard at the end of it? He was winded by Rasul Douglas in the end. Over or past the 50-yard line as there were several guys right in front. Ed Oliver being the first of them. Footwork is a key important cycle onto NFL games for running backs. Greg Russo got away. That's who Lamar got away from. He was crowded at the end. Matt Milano being one of them. I set. Derrick Henry being the running back in the I formation. Oh, Lamar tripped. And he will be touched down at the 49. He tripped up, tried to hand it off to Henry. So he pushed the center, Tyler Linderbaum. That's who Lamar ran right into and tried to hand it off to Henry. That's what tripped him up. That was Daquan Jones who pushed him right and Linderbaum right into him. And that was more of a defensive effort. 2nd and 14. Linderbaum looking to erase that last mistake. Excellent center here. Bill stacked the line of scrimmage. And they rush Lamar. Gets it off in a hurry right over the head of Bernard. And immediately tackled was likely. Makes it 3rd and 9. Bills have one of the worst third down defenses in the league. The Ravens, they can take advantage of that. But there are too many guys up front. Nobody at the second level is Rapp, who had the interception last time around for the Bills. Was the one catching that. Taron Johnson hurried up Lamar. Third catch for likely 49 yards. 48.2% third down conversion percentage in the regular season, which ranks 3rd in the NFL. Motioning back to the left of Lamar and then to his right is Justice Hill. Jackson throws it short, and this is Anthony Miller for the first down. Shy at the NFL Divisional Round logo, 16 yards for him. The Miller has been bouncing around for the league and the practice squad as well. He began his career with the Chicago Bears. And now he is on Baltimore. He was called up in the absence of Zay Flowers alongside Josh Tupou, the former Cincinnati Bengal. The Miller tried to do a double move on Taron Johnson, but Johnson stayed with him. Miller subs out here. 5 rushes and 2 passes here. Ricard lines up as a tight end. Running back is Henry in the pistol. Play fake for Henry. Lamar with pressure on his face. Juggled in and out. Mark Andrews with another drop here in snowing weather. The first one was a drop by Derrick Henry in the first quarter, but Andrews has the second drop pass of this game. Milano was right on Lamar's face. And there's a little adjustment as this went off his shoulder. It was right there for him. Couldn't secure it. Wide open left side. Yikes. Second and 10 from the Buffalo 28. Oh, a bad snap. Lamar trying to get away for it. He loses the football. Scooped up by Von Miller. Miller in a foot race. Justice Hill trying to catch up and brings him down deep in Ravens territory. The second takeaway of the game by this Buffalo defense. And the sixth time that Lamar has fumbled this season and lost it. The old guard still ever strong off a bad snap from Linderbaum. And with Lamar trying to get away from Damar Hamlin, uncharacteristically tries to get rid of it, but not there. And the big play made by Von Miller. Super Bowl MVP with the Broncos off the sack from Damar Hamlin. Oh, these guys are pumped up. And the defense is pumped up. Bunch set here as Matt Collins motions back left. Toss to the right side for Ty Johnson. Through contact. Gets 1 yard after contact, but gets shellacked at the end. At the right side. Broderick Washington and Marlon Humphrey as Johnson received the toss to the right. His offensive line for Buffalo is proving strong. And how about Damar Hamlin? First game this year for Jackson in which he has 2 giveaways. In motion left is Khalil Shakir, the leading receiver for the Bills this year. Also motion left is Amari Cooper. Brandon Stephens trailing in Amari. 2nd and 7 in the shotgun, 3 receivers left. Allen, Ravens rush 4, for the middle, completes it for a first down, it's Shakir, down at the 7. First and goal here. They'll actually be stopped at the 8-yard line, but that's the key matchup. Shakir against Humphrey. So far, advantage Shakir. Set up off that scoop play from Von Miller. And he is looking more like his old self, in which he's going on a 40-time full speed ahead once he picked up the football. Curtis Samuel motions left. Second catch for Shakir. He has 47 yards. Samuel motions back right. Cook up for the middle. Carries the bunnies around, trying to reach the end zone. He'll be stopped short. Second effort. And he'll be a yard short. Oh my goodness. Buffalo is loud and proud. They know they want to get their taste of blood and want revenge for the 3 playoff losses that they took at the hands of Patrick Mahomes and the dynasty known as the Kansas City Chiefs. And Buffalo's home crowd is fired up off this turnover, which they force a second turnover off Lamar Jackson. They can capitalize here. 6 minutes gone in the second quarter. They're going with a snowplow or the Buffalo Rumble, as I like to put it. There it is! Touchdown, Buffalo! With the snowplow! Sixth career postseason rushing touchdown. This time it's a variation of the tush push by the Eagles. There you have the snowplow, in which they went with it with Josh Allen on the quarterback sneak. Fans chanting MVP here at Orchard Park as they look to take a 14-7 lead. Extra point from Bass on the way. Left hash. Perfect. And MVP voting odds will not be impacted by this game, but Damar Hamlin gets a strip sack on Lamar Jackson. Von Miller returns it deep into Ravens territory, and the Bills up 14-7. 39 yards in the return for Von. We'll be back. Well, there's some signs saying even Romo knows Allen is the real MVP. Even though the MVP race is going to be very tight, even if Josh Allen doesn't win MVP this season for the Bills, he will be the Bills MVP in their hearts. Left side, this is Keaton Mitchell on the return, past the 30-yard line and forced out near the 35. Or forced out at the 35. This is taken up for the 6-yard line. Allen is 3 of 5, 58 yards, a touchdown, no picks, 7 rushing yards here. Lamar Jackson, 5 of 8, 81 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 21 rushing yards, but has those 2 turnovers that loom large. Arm punt to Taylor Rapp, and a strip sack caused by Damar Hamlin, picked up by Von Miller, returned for 39 yards. Baltimore still in it. They are not out of it. However, Lamar's postseason record does not look very good. Has just 2 wins on 6 tries. This is his 3 wins on 8 tries. 7 tries. Lamar is looking over to the right side, running up front. Minds that rushing lane integrity. Oh my goodness. There's a scuffle here, and there's pushing and shoving. Austin Johnson gave a late shove. Will there be a flag coming out? The Bills have to be very careful. Lamar getting grabbed from behind as he was brought down by Ed Oliver. And Oliver was in the process of tackling Lamar as he was going out of bounds. But there was a shove in between Austin Johnson and Roger Rosengarten. Oliver was tackling Lamar inbounds, so this is not unnecessary roughness. 4 rushes for 32 yards for Lamar Jackson. This is an eye set. Henry moves up for the middle. 6, maybe 7 yards for Derrick Henry. Second in the NFL rushing yards this year, right behind Saquon Barkley. But so far, it's been Ravens miscues that have been the finest. 2 costly drops, an arm punt, and a strip sack are what have been the defining factors for the Ravens. Those drops looming large. The Ravens have the ball to get Ian on board on 2nd and 4. How are we tonight?
We are doing well, my friend. We are doing well.
How about an MVP showdown between 2 top-notch franchises? Oh, this will be a run here for Henry. And he lunges forward at the last moment. And he got the first down. Up for the left side was needing 2. He might have been short, though. They'll mark him short, a yard short. So far, it's the Bills to the advantage. And I know it's not ideal for me to say this because this has not been a factor for me and for them throughout the season. But it's been thanks to their defense leading the way for the Bills. They have 2 takeaways off the Ravens. And the Ravens have several miscues. That interception, the strip sack, and those 2 drops. Here, it's 3rd and 1. And they have converted a league-high 79% on 3rd and short situations. But they'll take a timeout to discuss it. But even for the Ravens having all this success and Lamar Jackson potentially being MVP, there is the eerie feeling in the back of our minds that playoff Lamar Jackson is a real thing.
Yep, and my man, it's like I gotta be honest, it doesn't really matter. A lot of Chiefs fans don't care who wins.
Well, because next week it will be either the Ravens or the Bills. Though I feel I'll be more inclined towards another Mahomes-Allen showdown. It's a tale as old as time.
Yep.
Well, and you have John Harbaugh, who has 8 career road wins in the postseason, the most all-time among NFL head coaches. Here's a variation of the tush push on 3rd and 1. This will be a very close spot. The Ravens like doing this with Mark Andrews for their variation of tush push, and they'll say he got the first down. So Philadelphia has the tush push. Buffalo has the snowplow, or what they like to call the Buffalo Rumble. And I think this one, and Baltimore's variant, I'm calling it the Baltimore Beatdown. And getting examined and getting carted off the field. Can't get a number on it. But one of the Bills is getting carted off the field. Can't get a number right now, but we'll have an update as we get it through later in the game. Lamar Jackson going for the end zone deep. Caught! Inside the 5 is Rashad Bateman. First and goal. Down the middle, Lamar Jackson wants a measure of revenge here, and he sets up Bateman 42 yards. This is easily his best season of his career with those 11 receiving touchdowns. There are a lot of question marks about how he emerges, but it's safe to say that Bateman has blossomed into a late bloomer. No Zay Flowers, no problem. This is the longest play by either team tonight. Buffalo is crowding the line of scrimmage, anticipating a run. It is indeed a run, and they were ready for it. Derrick Henry stopped at the line, loss of 1, with Dorian Williams bringing him down. 5:05 to go. And I know the NFC East battle is going to be on, a showdown between two I-95 rivals, Washington and Philadelphia, in the NFC title game. The third time they meet, and there was a scuffle at the end, and one of the officials went down in the midst of that skirmish. Jordan Phillips and Ronnie Stanley were both involved. Second and goal, they'll mark it as a loss of 1. Strong side eye set left, Makari motions right. Play fake for Henry. One of the Bills got held. No flags are down, but that's not going to matter. Greg Rousseau, Johnny on the spot for the sack, loss of 5. They wanted to set up Derrick Henry on the play fake, as Ed Oliver clearly got held on the play, and no flag was being thrown, but the Bills are fine with the sack as Rousseau broke free. Do remember, and I talked in the pregame open about rush lane integrity. If the Ravens want to run, they should not run towards Rousseau's direction, given that he's arguably their best run defender. Play clock is down to 2. Motioning left is Bateman. Ravens get it off with 1. Rousseau slips up. Lamar going for Henry. In and out! It falls incomplete as the Bills were going for a takeaway on defense. And even though they gave it the big play to Rashad Bateman, they limit the Ravens to a field goal. Rousseau slipped up as he was blocked off by Stanley. And as Lamar was going to Henry, there was nothing there to go, as this field goal is going to be from the right hash for longtime stalwart Justin Tucker. It's a chip shot, 26 yards, so it should be a gimme. The kick is good. And it's within 4 here.
If you want to somehow transfer whatever heat is there into here.
Yo, there's a lot of noise in the background.
Oh, sorry, Alec.
Oh,
The mic was still on.
oh, no worries. Yeah, there was a lot of hullabaloo, or how do I say it? A lot of commotion over the background.
Yeah, that was I'm currently on shift, and it is cold where I'm at.
We talk about snow flurries here in Buffalo. It's even colder in Kansas City. Whew.
I don't know about that.
Well, they say it's 18 in Buffalo. In Kansas City, it is currently 8 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, yes, it is very much colder. How does that happen?
I mean, usually when you think of snow, you think that's going to be a cold place. And it is a cold place in Buffalo. But I didn't expect Kansas City to be colder than Buffalo, and yet there's no snow.
Actually, when it's snowing, it's warmer. It's actually tolerable.
I mean, you got winter storm warnings all over the place. Well, winter storm warnings in as far south as the Mexican border in the southernmost parts of Texas. How did that happen?
Global warming.
Seconded. And then you have winter storm warnings in the Appalachian Mountains. Philadelphia also in the range of those winter storm warnings. And the New England region. But what we do know of Buffalo is that a lake effect snow warning is in effect right around Lake Erie. Heavy lake effect snow is expected, and total snow accumulations are between 10 and 20 inches in the most persistent lake snows across the northern portions of in the northern portions of several areas. Erie County being one of them. Why I mentioned Erie County is that Buffalo is the county seat of Erie County. So, Buffalo is warming up. They have the winter coats here on the sideline as Jordan Stout is now in the place of Justin Tucker for the kickoff. Oh, and a towel blew free. That looked to be Stout's towel. Penn State product, by the way. I do note that tomorrow is the national championship game between Ohio State and Notre Dame. I don't know if I'm covering that one tomorrow, as this one goes to the back of the end zone. Initially, I was going to cover that, but now it may be in doubt. So it's several fans here receiving Super Bowl tickets. Buffalo readying up here for their next play. The Ravens were held to a field goal despite that big play from Rashad Bateman, 42 yards on the catch, the longest play by either team on the night. 3:43 to go here in the second quarter. The fullback Reggie Gilliam checks in. He is to the left of Allen, now motions towards the right. Allen, a double checks, now finds Cook with a block from Gilliam. And with that help from the fullback, he gets much more yards. That will be 7 in total. The stop from Malik Harrison. And that injury to what we were discussing about on that last play for the Bills, in which the player exited the game, that appears to be Taylor Rapp, it seems. Or was it Rasul Douglas? Can't get a jersey number. Didn't see it properly. 2nd and 3. As Allen is motioning for his guys to get around. 3:05 to go. Keon Coleman, the rookie from Florida State, in motion. So is Mac Hollins as the Bills are changing up formations. Play clock at 1. They just get it off. Toss play for the right side. And there's a first down run from Ray Davis past midfield and out at the 45.
He went to get a car that's been waiting for 10 minutes. Why has it been waiting that long? It's more white tickets, please. Why has it been waiting that long? Because I gave her the key and then she didn't go down for it.
Ray Davis getting the toss right side, and every man accounted for it. The extra lineman, Alec Anderson, number 70 in blue. Of course, saying the tone. That's what the Bills sometimes like to do with these extra linemen. 2 rushes, 17 yards for Davis. He does have that touchdown. Hollins motions to the right. Bills will receive the second half kickoff. That's an added bonus. Davis up the middle, looking for another first down. Oh my goodness. Was he ever walloped up and over, going for the first down run? And we're down to the 2-minute warning. That was Ardarius Washington with the boom. With 2 minutes to go, Buffalo leads 14-10 in Baltimore territory.
The Ravens could be up by 3 or by 7. But they have... I think we're seeing it, man. I think we are seeing play... Remind me, who fumbled for the Ravens?
Lamar Jackson.
We play off Lamar's strikes. I don't know what else to say.
I just don't get it from him. He's 28, and the irony is that every Ravens Super Bowl winning quarterback was 28 years old at the time. But if this keeps up, we may be seeing that narrative come to an end of 28-year-old quarterbacks for the Ravens winning a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer did it with the help of an elite defense, one of the league's best in history, with Ray Lewis. Joe Flacco won it when he was 28, with a defense that Ray Lewis on its last legs, and also with Ray Rice, Anquan Bolden, and Torrey Smith leading the charge.
Let's not forget Dennis Pitta, Mr. Reliable.
Yes, sir. Dennis Pitta, the ever so reliable tight end at time, and of an offensive line led by that right side of Marshall Yanda and Michael Oher. Don't forget.
Yep. And Justin Tucker in his rookie year.
Of course. Now Tucker is on his last legs, it seems, but he's still someone that any team will want to have in his prime years. That 66-yard kick will be a memory to always remember.
Yep.
So, once we get to halftime, I may want to discuss these last two games. Yeah, of course, the Chiefs game was the one that transpired before the Lions and Commanders won. Of course, the Texans, of course, the difference between the Chiefs and Texans, night and day. The Chiefs are the calm, cool, and collective franchise. The Texans were not. As they showed all throughout the season, they were an undisciplined mess. People can blame ref ball if they want, but that was not ref ball taking center stage and what led to the Texans going down. Motioning right is Hollins on 2nd and 1, as Davis was 1 yard short on the hit stick by Washington. Cook this time will get the first down up the middle. They're short of field goal range. The field goal target is the 30-yard line because of this heavy snow. Well, it's not really heavy snow, but the field goal line will be significantly reduced because of this snow. And from this spot, it is too long for a field goal, too short for a punt. And Tyler Bass, you never know what to expect from him. Ironically, he has not missed a kick from beyond 50 yards, but where he has the most trouble is those 40 to 50-yard kicks. He has missed 4 field goals from those spots. Screen pass left side. Closer to field goal range for the Bills. And taking off and running with it was the trusty Khalil Shakir. 1:16 to go. Is Buffalo going to take a timeout, or is Baltimore the one calling a timeout? Nope, it's Baltimore. That's their second timeout. They had to be forced to use a timeout earlier in this half. Still, it's 14-10 Baltimore as CBS cuts away. So I also want to have some live look-ins over at the NHL and NBA. In the meantime, we had just one final score. It's a 3-game slate in the NHL. That first game being the Ottawa Senators beating an old rival, the New Jersey Devils, 2-1. Anton Forsberg with 25 saves. Artem Zub and Zach Ostapchuk with the goals. Ostapchuk began the scoring for it to be answered by Tomas Tatar a minute and 18 seconds later. Then Zub won it 2:50 into the third. Ottawa did the rest offensively. Rangers are up 2-1 in the first period against the Canadiens, a season that has been spiraling downwards. The goals from Alexei Lafreniere and Will Coley. Brendan Gallagher, the lone goal for Montreal. For the NBA, the lone final score is a 128-107 final by the Heat winning over the San Antonio Spurs in a rematch of the 2013 and 2014 NBA Finals. Leading the way is Kilo Ware off the bench with 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 20 for Scary Terry. It may be a similar nickname to the one that Terry McLaurin has, but Terry Rozier put up 20 points, 4 boards, and 5 assists. Duncan Robinson, a reliable catch-and-shoot three-point player, 21, 5, and 2, 5 of 7 from 3, and Tyler Hero with 18 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. In the loss, it is 21 for the alien, Victor Wembanyama, with 10 rebounds and 3 assists. 23 for Devin Vassell, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. With a steal. Every member for the Spurs starting 5 put up double figures. Nobody from the bench put up double figures. So we're getting back to action in just a moment. Oh, the Poppy Bowl could be something of interest. It's always a classic for those who love pets. But next week is Championship Sunday, and no matter what happens, I will be covering the AFC Championship game next week, whether it be Chiefs-Bills or Chiefs-Ravens. Of course, quarterback showdowns between top five quarterbacks are always the best. Shakir motions left and then back right. On the run, it is Cook trying to get to field goal range. Stuffed. And there will be one more timeout taken after this. It will be the Ravens using their final timeout with 1:13 to go. And the Bills do get a first down. They can essentially run down more clock to set up Tyler Bass for another field goal. Well, this will be the first field goal of this game for Bass, given that Justin Tucker's made a field goal earlier tonight. Nuggets and Magic coming to the end of the third quarter. It is a 93-77 lead for Denver. Middle of the second quarter is the Sixers lead the Bucks 40-38. And the Thunder lead the Nets 53-39 past the midway mark of the second quarter. Well, good to have backups and reliable ones, that is. Though, we've seen a glimpse of Teddy Bridgewater for the Lions in their divisional round loss to the Commanders. And you gotta feel for Lions fans. I don't know how they put up for this long with this much pain and suffering. Shakir in the slot as he motioned to that spot left. Shotgun set with Johnson lined up all the way to the right. Ravens rushing forward. Allen taking a moonshot. Oh, there was a push. Flag flies in. And you gotta believe that was for the push by Keon Coleman. Tre'Davious White was the one in coverage, but Coleman was the one pushing White. Oh my goodness, they're calling it on Tre'Davious White. But that was a clear push-up by Coleman. A very bad call by the officials grants the Bills a first down. And John Harbaugh, I feel ya. That was not a defensive pass interference. First penalty of the on defense against the Ravens in a while. It's their second penalty against them. Carl Jefferson's crew is likely laying these guys' plays. Cook gets 4 yards. That puts the Bills closer into pay dirt. A score here will put them up by at least 7, maybe even 11. 2nd and 6, but that was not DPI. And here in their second drive, they had scored 2 touchdowns when going to the red zone. 2 for 2 so far in the red zone, looking to make it 3 for 3. Allen's going to take off himself up for the middle. The Ravens trying to crowd him. Well, and down he goes. Inside the 5, the Bills will let this run out to 20 seconds where they call their first timeout. It'll be 3rd and 2 at the Baltimore 4. They can still get a first down, and they're in position to score a touchdown. They don't need it. They can certainly get a touchdown here, and another one would do a lot of wonders. Buffalo leading here in the rematch. Baltimore won at home, 35-10. But this rematch has the revenge factor in mind for Buffalo. Don't forget about that. 3rd and 2, and even more important for the Bills is that they will receive the second half kickoff. And it looked to be helmet to helmet contact. On Josh Allen. So 3rd and 2 from the 4. A missed helmet to helmet call on Marlon Humphrey that would have set up 1st and goal for the 2. Jumbo set towards the right side. Watch out for that. Josh Allen takes it himself, trying to power his way, and he does! Mr. Do-It-All finds pay dirt again. For the second time in his career, Josh Allen has 2 postseason rushing touchdowns in a game. As it was a read option towards the left side, Josh Allen studied the film, that was employed by the Ravens on the Lamar Jackson read options and says, "Oh, you can do that? Hey, I can do that too." And he finds the gap at the right side, and he finds the end zone. Kick is up from Bass. You bet. 21-10 Bills with 16 seconds to play, and the Ravens have a lot of questions to answer.
Alex, it's not even at halftime yet, but I don't trust the Ravens. I don't trust them.
Well, there is that factor of not trusting the Ravens in the playoffs. I mean, when I looked at this, of course, I picked the Bills to win this, and it turns out it was a very slim margin. But there was a hunch in me about the Ravens and their uncanny ability to just fade in the playoffs. And so far as the Bills on top, and even worse for Baltimore, they will be starting on defense to begin the second half. Normally, they've been a very elite defensive team. They've been elite down the stretch. However, this is the worst possible time for the Ravens to revert back to early season form on defense. But Josh Allen is that guy. It's all known throughout the NFL, and they may be going their way. If they can hold up on their way to the AFC title game, which will be held in Kansas City. Through the middle, Keaton Mitchell trying to break free. He returns this back to the 34. Ravens are out of timeouts. 9 seconds to go. And as CBS studio is in their building location, they are not in Buffalo, most likely because of this weather. You have JB, Nate Burleson, Bill Cowher, and Matt Ryan over at the studio. I wonder where J.J. Watt would be as Lamar Jackson kneels down. Well, to take this to halftime, the Buffalo Bills up 21-10. They were the only team in the divisional round to be labeled as the home underdog by Vegas sportsbooks, but now they are up by 11 points. They go into halftime for what we can talk about these last two playoff games. Ian, I know you weren't around for the Commanders and Lions game, but we may be seeing a superstar in the making in Jaden Daniels.
Oh, he is. And look, with no Dan Snyder around to ruin him, the Commanders are going to be dangerous.
They will, for sure.
There might even be, dare I say it, in the future, there may be a repeat NFC East champion.
We might be seeing that. And given the trend of no repeat NFC East champion in years, there's a feeling in me that next year, that trend's going to continue and it will be Washington winning the NFC East. There's that feeling in me. He's that good and could very easily be the best quarterback not only in the NFC East, but the NFC as a whole in the future, Ian.
Yeah.
That argument is very real. That this defense is the unsung hero of this game. For a defense that entered with many, and I mean many question marks, they got 5 takeaways off the Lions in the game. 3 times they intercepted Jared Goff. Once off of Jameson Williams, and even a strip sack of Jared Goff himself. And I'll say this as well. I thought Mike Sainristil being picked 50th overall in the draft by Washington was criminal. How did he fall to 50th? He is a baller, a ball hawk, and he showed that in Michigan. Anyone who's watched him play over at the U of Michigan should know that he is anyone who's going to take him has just landed a gem on the secondary. Washington found a gem.
Yes, they certainly have. I can't say I don't know much about him because I'll be honest, I didn't watch many Commander games.
Well, I admittedly watched only I was about to cover two of them. The first one being the second one being the Buccaneers Commanders game. The first one I covered of the Commanders was Thursday Night Football between the Eagles and the Commanders. It didn't really live up, but the second time Washington faced off against Philadelphia, boy was it theatrics. The final 5 wins for the Commanders in the regular season came down to the final play, including that win against the Eagles, in which Jalen Hurts exited to a concussion. Kenny Pickett entered the game, and he was alright to say the least. But Detroit, we know that for a fact that you can only go next man up for so long before it finally bites you, and here, the injury bug finally caught up to the Lions. In total, when you include the 18 players lost to the IR, in total the Lions had 22 players on the injured reserve for the season. Ironically, matching the jersey number once worn by a Lions Hall of Famer, Bobby Lane. And of course, there's much discussed about the curse of Bobby Lane, and it continues again here. And that's despite a great effort from Jahmyr Gibbs, 14 carries for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches, 137 yards. Those two had great days. Jared Goff, woof, 59.7 passer rating.
The goof returned at the worst possible time.
Yep. Reminder, he's making $53 million per year. And while he is nice, it's not ideal for in the modern day of the NFL. The mobile quarterback is the ideal quarterback. Goff is more for the pocket passer type.
Agreed.
And what we're seeing now, the remaining teams in the playoffs consist of mobile quarterbacks. Yes, that included the recently eliminated Los Angeles Rams. For those saying that Matthew Stafford isn't a mobile quarterback, he can run the ball. And speaking of the Rams, even though they got eliminated, this was a more defensive contest. Between the Rams and Eagles combined, they accumulated 12 sacks in total. Stafford was sacked 5 times. Jalen Hurts was sacked 7 times. Jared Verse, who has a legitimate argument for Defensive Rookie of the Year as he made his case down the stretch, accounted for 2 of the 7 Rams sacks. 1 from Kobe Turner, 1 from Jalen McCullough, 1 each from Neville Gallimore, Braden Fisk, and Omar Speights. I was so fond of Omar Speights, this rookie out of LSU. This defense was supposed to take a step back in the retirement of Aaron Donald. All they did was preserve with the young key pieces in all of Verse, Fisk, Turner, and hell, even we got 2 guys named Cameron in the backfield and 2 rookie safeties leading the way in the backfield in Jalen McCullough and Cameron Kinchins. And a job well done by Chris Shula, first-year defensive coordinator for the Rams. Offensively, it wasn't much, but when they attacked, it was efficient. Matthew Stafford, 26 of 44 for 324 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Kyren Williams with 19 carries for 106 yards. And for the Eagles, there goes that man, Ian. Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns on a stellar night. And we thought this would be the type of game for A.J. Brown to rebound. Well, so far in the playoffs this year for A.J., he has 3 total catches for 24 yards. We're seeing less of Jalen Hurts and more of Saquon Barkley as the Eagles are going more run-heavy on their way to the NFC title game. Winner goes to New Orleans for Super Bowl 59, the first time we have seen a Super Bowl here at the Jazz City since the Ravens won the Blackout Bowl, with John Harbaugh triumphing over Jim Harbaugh and the San Francisco 49ers. Still no score updates in the NHL, yet the Detroit Red Wings and Dallas Stars are set to take off momentarily. And looking at the NHL standings, the Red Wings, they're playing catch-up. And don't look now, Ian, the Ottawa Senators are in a playoff spot.
Wow, so they finally have good goaltending?
From Linus Ullmark and Anton Forsberg. Finally.
Wow. Okay, I guess, you know what? Eventually, people work through their problems, and they improve. And the Senators have finally improved.
And that they did. As they're holding off the Boston Bruins for the playoff spot as the Senators and the Blue Jackets are holding off the Boston Bruins for the 2 wildcard spots. The Bruins are 1 point out of it, 22, 19, and 6, with a minus 23 goal differential.
No, Blue Jackets and Senators in the wild cards. You know, it's still very early. We're not at the All-Star break yet, but I'd be okay with the Blue Jackets and the Senators.
Oh yeah, I would be too. I also would be okay with the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings as the 2 wild cards. But the Blue Jackets, that has to feel very good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Johnny Hockey, this is for you.
You know, if the Blues don't make the playoffs, which likely they won't, and the Blue Jackets do, look, hey, Alec, I may have respect and love for your Hurricanes, but I'm going to be riding with Blue Jackets all the way.
Hey, you know who else I'll be rooting for all the way? Another team that would be making the playoffs? Picture this. The Calgary Flames.
The Flames and the Blue Jackets in the final. Good Lord.
Well,
that would be cinema.
Yeah, that plus with Johnny Hockey watching from above.
Yeah.
And it may not be shocking to me, but this particular team is holding a wild card spot. Though this has been coming for quite a while, knowing that they've lost a lot of depth. The Colorado Avalanche are the first wild card.
That makes sense. Although, good Lord.
Yeah, good Lord indeed. And meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers, I covered the Avalanche and Oilers earlier this week. The Oilers, they are tied in a 2-way tie for first in the Pacific Division with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a tight battle for first in that division, but I would expect that this would be a battle that can come down to Game 82. The Oilers are running hot though, and they're arguably the hottest team in the league. 8-2-0 in their last 10 games.
Let's also not forget that Leon Draisaitl was rewarded with a new and very lucrative contract extension.
$14 million a year. So this year, it all makes sense if this is last chance for the Oilers before that Draisaitl contract kicks in. Not to mention Evan Bouchard's hefty payday looming large in the future.
Yep.
So indeed, this is the last chance. And once that contract kicks in, the Oilers, they're going to be risking losing a lot of depth. Plus, McDavid is going to have contract negotiations starting next summer.
Now, they're going to break the bank to keep him, but wow. You know, it's not far-fetched to think that he'll ask for 200.
I mean, how else can I not picture McDavid potentially looking at the equivalent of MLB contract money?
Well,
on the lower end.
Yeah, because it's, and it's not that far-fetched considering he is the greatest player in an age.
Yep.
Like, honestly, before McDavid, I'd wager it was Ovechkin who was viewed that way.
Then it would be Crosby. But now McDavid's on a stratosphere of his own.
Yeah. She just... Yeah. That... Lord Stanley continues to evade him.
That's the downside of it all. Plus, there's that long-time Canada curse that is also there. 32 years in which a Canadian team has not won a Stanley Cup. And soon enough, you wonder, when are they going to finally break? When is a Canadian team finally going to break through? I would hope at one point they finally break out on top, because the nation deserves it.
Yep.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of passing yards so far here in Buffalo between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. If we look at the player comparison, Lamar is 6 of 10 for 123 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Also has a fumble that he lost on a strip sack to Damar Hamlin. Buffalo has Josh Allen going 5 of 7 for 69 yards. Has thrown no touchdowns, but no interceptions either. In team stats, as we are about to get underway, and we are, this will be a return kick for the Bills from Ray Davis. Davis had one touchdown earlier, takes us back to the 25-yard line. In terms of total yards here, it would be the Ravens having the advantage 182 to 156. Yet, it is the two takeaways that are the key here for the Bills on their way to being up by 11 points. This is the largest halftime deficit the Ravens have faced this season, regular season and postseason. There have been some moments in which they have experienced heart attacks. Week 1 against Kansas City, in which they lost by a toe from Isaiah Likely. Week 3, in which they were up by 22 points and almost blew it against the Dallas Cowboys.
And that was after losing to the Raiders in week 2.
First run is a toss to the right side that was stuffed for no gain. And you still want to wonder to this day about going on here. You look back at the early part of the schedule and say, how in the heck did the Ravens lose to the Raiders? That same Raiders team proceeded to lose to the Panthers the very next week. And now are going towards a total rebuild.
Same question you could ask, how did the Bungles lose to the Pats?
I have no idea. 2nd and 9 as Shakir motions to the slot at the left. Now motioning right and then back left is Howens. Ravens send a blitz after Allen. Allen delivers a dive to the right side, low and incomplete. Intended for Kincaid. It'll be 4th and 9. As the pressure, or actually 4th and 9, or 3rd and 9. They corrected themselves as Kincaid could not secure it. The pass was low. Kyle Hamilton in coverage. Passing yards are earned here. It's been mostly the ground attack that's been dominating the headlines here. And Buffalo's defense. Buffalo is 2 of 4 on 3rd down tonight. Ravens have 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. Might be showing blitz. And they are blitzing. Nate Wiggins is closing in on Allen. Allen has to throw it away, and he does. Whoa, this did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. They're not going to mark it intentional grounding, but if a ball does make it back to the line of scrimmage, it should not be regarded as intentional grounding. But that time, the ball was shy of the line of scrimmage. I thought this was intentional grounding, as Wiggins was pressuring Allen. Was his, he threw it. But that was a quarter blitz off Wiggins. Martin's first punt went for 44 yards. This is just the second punt of the game. We're a minute deep into the 3rd quarter. Lamar Jackson and company will have possession right back. See if their playoff miscues will be reversed here and their fortunes reversed. Martin gets it off. Back deep is Steven Sims Jr. from the 20-yard line. Evades Howens. Makes another Bill miss. looking to break free. Shoestring at the 35 and brought down at the 36. Excellent return for Sims, the former Houston Texan. Going to break here a minute 12 deep into the third quarter.
Just a little fun fact for everyone. Sims was the Houston Texan that had a punt return touchdown against the Ravens last season.
That was the lone touchdown of the game for the Texans in the AFC Divisional Round playoffs last year in their game against the Ravens at Baltimore. In a game in which it showed promise for, in a game in which it was in the middle of the season that showed promise for the Texans for their future, with C.J. Stroud being a revelation out of Ohio State University. And it paid dividends in winning Offensive Rookie of the Year that year. This year was a step backwards, but they need to get back that mojo and what made them headliners in Stroud's first season, and what made Nico Collins into wide receiver 1 in H-Town.
What the Texans also need to do is appease the football gods so they can actually keep their offensive line and wide receiver core intact for the entire season.
Yeah, I do remember they lost Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell for the year to torn ACLs. Dell with that torn ACL against the Chiefs, and Diggs much earlier than that. They had to rely on John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson as their slot receiver and other outside receiver. Though Hutchinson did have that big play to set up the Nico Collins touchdown against the Chargers. But ideally, you would want to have more protection for your franchise QB. Having Laramie Tunsil as your only legitimate blocker, that's not a good sign for your offensive line. But Tunsil, he was a revolving door this year. He had his worst season of his career to date this season. And the rest of the offensive line is not doing any wonders. And Shaq Mason looks like a shell of his former self. They need to continue scouting offensive linemen to see if they can find the right guys and the right fit. Ravens have turned it over twice. They're back with the ball starting for their own 36 on a good punt return by Sims, warring to number 18. Play fake from Lamar Jackson. He's hurried up as he throws it, and it's shy of Nelson Aguilar. Excellent pressure from Bobby Babbitt's defense, in which they dialed up heavy pressure on the right side and up through the middle. It was a blitz play, and it got Lamar uncomfortable. But Buffalo's defense is playing their hearts out tonight. For a defense that had so many question marks entering this game, they're checking all the boxes. 2nd and 10. Derrick Henry is held to just 21 rushing yards. Bills send the blitz again. Lamar dissects it and finds Andrews for 5 yards. Cole Bishop with the tackles. He was used as an extra defender in the secondary. That was set up 3rd and 5. Lamar Hamlin also in the middle of it. Taylor Rapp was the one who was carted off. He's being examined. He had that interception earlier in the game. Bishop is back deep as the free safety, or the strong safety. 5.8 yards to go on average on 3rd downs. The Ravens have converted on 4 of 5. 6 3rd down situation. They're going for shotgun set. Bills send 5 this time around. Lamar shuffles right and finds the open man as Andrews as Johnson fell down out of midfield. 1st down for Baltimore. It's what they needed. Something to get the mojo back. Derrick Henry having his worst outing so far. He has just 21 rushing yards after going up for 186 last week. 2nd catch for Andrews. And that's 14 yards in total. Hill shuffles by. Makes another defender miss. Lunges forward. And another 1st down. Baltimore has something to say about this lead of the Bills. And Slime Time's on Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern on Nickelodeon. To see what we say about highlights of these NFL games that were broadcast on CBS. This one especially, and who will be crowned MVP of this game. Isaiah Likely in motion towards the right side. Pistol set. Henry right behind. Jackson. Running to right for Henry. Henry gets by for the second level and lunges ahead again. And that's what the Ravens need. More from Derrick Henry. He got 12 yards that time around. And it's another first down. Two tight end sets are what play to the Ravens' advantage. You got tight ends on one side, or the other side, or you got tight ends on both sides. And when you have tight ends on the same side of the field, that usually means it's a run towards that direction. Henry subs out. Hill was back in. Frankly, this is his longest run today of 12 yards. Hill was a single back. Sims in motion right. Toss towards the left side for Hill. Trying to find a lane, and he is eaten alive by Epenesa. Don't get in his way. Only pain will deliver. That is a defensive end. That is the weak link of this run defense. Usually we're talking about don't run towards Greg Russo's side, but Epenesa took those comments to heart and shed the block to get Buffalo the third play, to force the seventh play for negative yardage on Baltimore. Buffalo has just 3 of those. 2nd and 12. Shotgun set. Matt Milano lining up as an outside linebacker. Faking the blitz as his approach to the middle, incomplete off of Andrews. Taron Johnson in coverage right on Andrews. And Sean McDermott's defense can dial up the heavy pressure to the inside. And Johnson confused Lamar Jackson and adjusted the throwing angle towards that right side. Little inaccurate on that throw. 3rd and 12. The Ravens are 2 of 3 on 3rd down on attempts from at least 8 yards tonight. 5 of 6 in total. Shotgun set. And in the backfield with Lamar, it's Justice Hill as he motions towards the left side. Bills crowd the box. Oh, they need to get it off. Trying to evade it. And now a flag comes in. They did not get the play off on time. Carl Jefferson's crew, which normally doesn't call a lot of penalties, they called that delay of game penalty as the play clock went down to 0. And it was clear delay of game as the pressure from up the box confused Lamar Jackson and caused the timing in the snap to be late. He was rushing Tyler Linderbaum on the snap, and it will force 3rd and 17. Bills Mafia is loud. This is right on the edge of field goal range. In motion left is Bateman. In coverage right on Bateman is Rasul Douglas. Bill Sim free this time. It's a dump off for Bateman. And he was plastered by Milano. It does set the Ravens up in field goal range. Will this be a make here for Justin Tucker? From here will be 47 yards, but also factor in the snow that is falling onto this venue. Tucker setting up at the left hash. Jordan Stout will hold. Nick Moore will snap. Tucker is the most accurate kicker in NFL history, 89.1%. But that accuracy percentage went down to 73.3% on the 2024 regular season. Kick on the way for Tucker. As reliable as he can be, he is good. From 47 yards south. 9:47 to play. Ravens are the first to strike here in this 3rd quarter. 21-13. Bills still lead. We'll be right back.
Thought the Ravens were putting something together.
They needed it. But what killed the momentum was that penalty at the end. You cannot afford to take penalties like those. It doesn't matter if the box is stacked.
Right.
Though, I'll give credit where credit is due. The Bills defense was all over the box, which confused Lamar Jackson. He thought that it was going to be a blitz, but there was no timeout on the play. Like, none at all. And now, we have a tie game in Montreal with the Canadians scoring. It is Christian Dvorak on the power play. Brendan Gallagher and Alex Newhook with the assists. And the Stars draw first blood at DFW. 1-0. They lead thanks to Mate Blumo with his first goal of the year. Justin Herkowian and Colin Blackwell with the assists. Yes, that Herkowian, that is an actual last name, is it? I'm spelling it out now. Hryckowian. Complicated last names all over the place. And another final score. The Nuggets prevail 113-100 over the Magic. Nikola Jokic with, of course, a triple-double. You expect him to be on triple-double watch. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Christian Braun with 20 points and 11 rebounds. Good showing for the man from KU. The Kansas Jayhawk had a good big showing. 19 for Jamal Murray on 8 of 16. Michael Porter Jr. had 15 points on 5 of 9. 6 rebounds with it. And Russell Westbrook with 12. See us into the starting lineup. For Orlando, you got 16 from Wendell Carter Jr. with 14 rebounds and 5 assists. 12 each from Tristan Da Silva and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. 14 from Anthony Black with 5 assists, 2 steals. 10 points for Paulo Banchero. 7 boards, 5 assists. 4-17 shooting. Not his night. Back here in the AFC Divisional, the Ravens will send it off. Jordan Stout is set to kick it away. Ray Davis and Ty Johnson are back deep as the 2 return men. Stout will send it off, and it's up. Backpedaling into the end zone and seeing this fly at the back is Ty Johnson for a touchback. Buffalo will start their own 30. 9:47 to go here in the third quarter. As Los Angeles is still dealing with the aftermath of the wildfires, please donate to those affected by the California wildfires going to redcross.org. Josh Allen and company start up and see if they can take it down the Ravens' throats. Game is far from over. Fake the handoff to Cook. Allen with good protection goes back to Cook towards the left side. Starter steps and gets 3 yards. Now, excellent protection. That is the best that you would see from this Bills offensive line. He gave him all day to throw. 2nd and 7 as the stop was made by Kyle Hamilton. 107 tackles, second most on the team behind the ex-Chicago Bear Roquan Smith. 1 interception to go with it and 2 sacks. Ravens down by 8 as Shakir motions to the right side, line up at the slot. It's a bubble screen for Shakir. Ravens man the gap and don't let him get away. Excellent awareness from Ardarius Washington to limit him just 2 yards and set up 3rd and 5. The most important down of any NFL game. Buffalo's been efficient though. We'll see how they counter to this Ravens defense. But Ardarius Washington was masterful this time around and grabbing Shakir's leg and not letting go. 4 catches, 53 yards so far. Bills are 2 of 5 on 3rd down. They could certainly use a conversion here as Shakir motions around the left side. Allen backpedals towards the right side, finds his man Curtis Samuel for the first down as he was being hauled by Wiggins. 8 yards exact. Samuel, the ex-Carolina Panther, ex-Washington Commander, another Ohio State product, will see his Buckeyes go toe for toe with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish tomorrow in the national championship at Atlanta, Georgia. It's a leverage one-on-one matchup between Samuel, who's shifty as a receiver. He can also play running back. Allen is now 8-12 for 82 yards. It's been more of the defense showing out for the Bills so far. And here's a run for Cook of an extra offensive lineman, Alec Anderson, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. There was nothing in front as Malik Harrison was right there in front of him. 2nd and 10 with 7:25 to go here in the third quarter. Sold out crowd here in Buffalo. Lamar Jackson knows that his team has the best defense in the NFL down the stretch in the second half. Finishing as the league's best run defense. Shakir and Samuel go together to the right side. 3 right and 1 left. And it's a shotgun. Allen to pass here on 2nd down. Middle, Shakir, 5 yards. Less than 7 to go. And we're at 3rd and 5. That's his 5th catch of this game. And that's the go-to guy that Allen likes to go to. His most trusted target. He was the only holdover from last year's receiving core that consisted of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis among them. This is a new look receiving core from this year, but they had some familiarity as time went on. Allen is 2 of 4 on 3rd down with 2 first downs. It's a tight end screen to Knox. There were no blockers in front of him. The Ravens were prepared. Kyle Van Noy, right on the spot to stuff Dawson Knox for no gain. And the Ravens still are feeling good, knowing that they'll get the ball back on the punt from Sam Martin. It was a screen pass towards the right side. And everyone was flying right in there for the Ravens. Unblocked. 3rd punt of the game for the Bills. Sam Martin is getting set to kick it away. Martin is positioned back at his own 34 to kick it. He'll step up several steps. Kick is on the way from Martin. Sims is back deep. Calling for the fair catch. It takes a friendly bounce for the Ravens and towards the end zone for a touchback. 5:21 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And the Ravens will begin for the 20 when we come back with 5:21 to go.
Okay. So they got to stop. If the ball at their 20, in theory, they go down, they score, they can tie it up.
Oh.
By all accounts, they should be losing by more.
By accounts, if it weren't for self-inflicted errors, the Ravens, they will be leading in this game.
True.
But self-inflicted wounds, of course, have been the story in that first half. 2 drops, an interception, and that strip sack that was returned to Ravens territory by Von Miller. He's getting involved in this game on that fumble return. While he doesn't have a tackle, he accounted for that recovery. Took it 39 yards to set up one of the Bills' free touchdowns. Buffalo so far is in good hands. How longer will this go is anyone's guess. But the Rangers, they have the lead back. Mika Zibanejad needed something in the worst way, and he got a power play goal.
You know, I'd forgotten until I rewatched Reed's video that Mika Zibanejad was originally a Senator.
Well, yeah, he was in that trade that sent Derek Brassard to Ottawa. And while Brassard was going to roll as a role player for Ottawa, the trade backfired on Ottawa. And now for Dallas, it's Jason Robertson and Maverick Bork scoring, the 2 goals being a minute and 13 seconds apart. Robertson on the man advantage from Matt Duchene and Miro Heiskanen. Bork from Ilya Labushkin and Duchene. So it's going good for Duchesne over in Dallas. He has 2 assists so far, and he's getting pay cuts to stay on a cup contending team. We don't know if Dallas will get over the hump, but if Pierre DeBoer is your coach, nothing is certain.
Oh, man, Pierre DeBoer. Pierre DeBoer will... Right now, he is a legacy of failure, despite the fact that his seasons... Despite the fact that he doesn't have a lot of bad seasons.
Whew. And it's frustrating.
Yep.
There's 6 yards.
He's the same as Bruce Boudreaux.
It's 6 yards for Henry on the first run, but man, it has to be frustrating dealing with DeBoer.
Yeah.
2nd and 3, as there was 7 yards on the first carry, or 6.5, as Charlie Collard motions all the way to the right. Out the middle, Henry again, trying to get that first down. Awfully close, but not close enough. He's short by a yard. All runs so far, and through the wild card. In the second half, this is where Henry comes to life. 1,267 yards on second halves of games. In the first half, 840 in total. It's where you want Henry to be alive here. He has matched his rushing output from the first half as he's getting involved more. Glenn Cleaver's an extra offensive lineman. Here comes Henry. And that saved a touchdown, as there was nobody in between the last defender for the Bills at the time of the tackle. 17 yards before Damar Hamlin saved the touchdown. Hard hitter. And that time I applied that hard hit on Henry to prevent him from breaking free. "12 attempts, already 59 yards. He has yet to find the end zone. But anytime, you would expect that Henry will be getting alive here. 3:25 to go as motion left to Steven Sims Jr. Play fake. Lamar keeping it. Throw towards the left side. Caught! Rumbling for the first down is Andrews. 12 yards. A flag is down. More towards the defensive secondary area. But the Ravens, they are alive. That penalty is on Rasul Douglas. The penalty is declined. And that's because the Ravens got the first down. So a lot of the conditioning having to do with Henry taking care of his body. As he is keeping in shape and in good fit. Pistol set, motioning left is likely to the left side of Ronnie Stanley. Hill is the running back on the pistol. Hill with speed. Here he goes. Past the 30. Down to the 20. There's some more there. In the rushing attack, beating down on the Bills defense. 22 yards. This looked to be a simple zone, but the Ravens are marching right down for the field on the run. This is where they do best, as Daquan Jones slipped up. Rasul Douglas to make the tackle. Ravens defense adjusted to account for the run. And they have given up just 1 rushing yard so far in the second half. Here's Henry looking for the end zone. Will not get there, but he gets down to 5. Add 15 more yards to that. Greg Russo saved the touchdown. The hole set by Patrick Ricard as the Ravens are 15 more closer, as Charlie Collard should get credit for blocking out Matt Milano and setting up the lane. And having him not make a tackle until it was already too late. 53 rushing yards in this quarter after having 13 in the first and 8 in the second. 4 rushes, 41 yards. Here he goes, powering through to the end zone. He's in! The King is here!
Just ride, man. said, give me the ball and I will carry us to the promised land.
And that he is doing with his third rushing touchdown this postseason. He'll get the Ravens within 2. They are going for 2, so as to try to tie up this game. They are 1 of 3 on 2-point conversions this season, combined between regular season and postseason. They want to tie it. That's why they're going for 2. And motion right is Henry. Lamar Jackson is going to pass. And this ball is batted up and incomplete. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage as it was going towards the left side. Not sure who was the intended target, but Derrick Henry has cut this to within 2. And Buffalo is happy to have it a 2-point game and not a tie game. 1:37 to go in the third quarter. So we're on the break. And yes, that pass was broken up by Matt Milano at the line. So as for tomorrow, I know a lot of people are saying Ohio State's going to win the national championship. There are some that are saying Notre Dame's going to pull off the upset. Do you see this going Ohio State or Notre Dame for tomorrow?
I'm hoping for the meteor. But if I have to pick, which I do, he won't be able to beat Michigan, but Ryan Day will win Ohio State the national champion and be the coach for another 2 decades.
Well, I have this ugly feeling in my head about it, that Ohio State's going to win the national championship. And I think those who are expecting this to be an interesting game, prepare to be disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be anything special.
And I feel that that's where Ohio State's experience is going to be the factor that wins. That their experience in playoff games like these is what's going to get them the win over Notre Dame. I got to give props to Marcus Freeman, though, for leading Notre Dame to the national title game. Turning around this program, which was perennially in the midst of ups and downs. But here, it's all ups. Well, the Haagen-Dazs sponsorship looks dope on the NFL and CBS. Well, stop making me craving for ice cream. Come on. Brand new ball game. Baltimore has outscored Buffalo 9-0 in this quarter. And outgained Buffalo 120-19 in total yards on the quarter. Ty Johnson's back deep. The Bills need something. They were stopped on their first 2 drives. They cannot afford to be stopped for a third straight drive. Kick is on its way. Going back deep at the end zone is Ty Johnson. He'll just let this fly. To the Bills, it's third time going to be the charm here in Buffalo. They have not found success on the ground game here in this third quarter. Limited to just 1 yard when running it. Derrick Henry is up to 79 rushing yards on the game with 1 rushing touchdown. That touchdown coming on that last drive. Reggie Gilliam in the game. Allen's up to 1 or 2 total yards. 87 through the air, 15 through the ground. Dalton Kincaid motions all the way to the right. James Cook gets the rock up front. Cook shifts angles. Another cut. First down. 11 yards. Right around Kyle Hamilton as he does 2 cuts around this Baltimore defense. His 13th rush ends up with him getting 47 total. And this one adds 11 to his rushing totals. The Bills' ground game has not had a lot of success. But if there's any time to strike, it will be now. Alec Anderson lines up as an extra offensive lineman. He's lined up as a tight end here. to the left of Dawson Knox. Motion left is Mac Hollins. Toss to the left for Ty Johnson trying to find a line of scrimmage. He just got there. Michael Pierce was the first one alongside Malik Harrison. It will officially go to loss of 1. To set up 2nd and 11. Chris Board is an extra inside linebacker for this play, as Malik Harrison subs out. Going shotgun set here for 24 rushes, 15 passes. 2 receivers to the left and 2 towards the right side. Allen's going to pass towards the middle. Shakir's there. Shakes off 1 tackler. That tackler came right back to him as Shakir shook off another tackler. Marlon Humphrey stayed with him, and that is the final play of the third quarter. It was all Ravens here in the third. The final 15 minutes set to get away momentarily, with the Bills facing 3rd and 2 when we return. Buffalo leads 21-19. Entering the 4th. I am Alec Nava, joined here with Ian Genge. And we're going to the between quarter break. Well, Montreal, in the meantime, once again has tied it on the Rangers with 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the second period. And Nick Suzuki with the game-tying goal late in the second. It's getting interesting in Montreal. But in this final quarter, a lot can happen. And between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, you can expect fireworks. The Ravens will have a run-heavy approach in the third quarter, and it worked to their favor. They kept grounding and pounding it with Derrick Henry to beat up this Bills defense. And it paid off. Early on, it was the Bills' run defense that got the advantage. But now, Henry has a say in words for that. And as of now, 302 to 193, the total yards in favor of the Ravens. That is what we're seeing here among the stats. That the Bills are getting outgained by over 100 yards, yet are up by 2. That's in part of their takeaways in the first half. Josh Allen isn't having himself a spectacular game, yet he is 11 of 15 for 96 yards. And has 5 carries for 15 yards with 2 touchdowns. James Cook, 13 carries for 47 yards. Normally, this type of game would have the Ravens ending up in front, yet they're only down by 2. And Khalil Shakir has 6 receptions, 67 yards. Lamar Jackson, 10-16 for 154 yards, a touchdown and interception. Derrick Henry, 14 carries, 79 yards, a touchdown. Rashad Bateman, 3 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 3 catches, 49 yards, and no touchdowns for him. Mark Andrews, 3 catches, 26 yards. The other catch was from Anthony Miller. 1 catch. That was for 14 yards. Coming back to you here from Orchard Park. We're at the start of the fourth quarter. Bills in the home blue. Ravens in the road white. Bills going from left to right. Ravens from right to left. From right to left are the Bills. Up the middle on third down. It's a first down for the Bills. That will move the chains. 6 yards that time around for Buffalo. They're still going. We're actually 4 yards from Ty Johnson. The first half was erroneous for the Ravens. Second half, those errors are fixed. As the Ravens had 4 miscues in the first half. Outside that interception and strip sack. The fumble lost. It was a 2 drop passes that loomed large. But it was a perfect third quarter for the Ravens. 219.5 is the regular season average for Josh Allen in the regular season. It's the play fake up the middle as Allen will go back for Cook. James Cook. He went 6 yards there. It's Malik Harrison was the last man catching up to him. The Bills are going rather slow and methodical with this drive. as they change up the approach on the Ravens. They want to go the short routes. Don't risk it. Take it easy. And Josh Allen is calm, cool, and collected, showing his flow here. He's growing out that long hair, like that. 2nd and 5 here. Bills lining up in single back. Cook is the runner towards the left side, trying to get the edge onto defenders. Has it! First down, 7 yards. It is Stephens who he beat out, who he got the edge on, faking to the outside and then cutting to the inside. Sets up the Bills in field goal territory, but they will not be comfortable with 3. They want 6. Allen on the play call. Alec Anderson has the German flag at the back of his helmet. In his last 10 pass attempts, Josh Allen has completed 8 of 10 for 36 yards. Once again, methodical. Eye set up the middle, it is Cook. As he gets by for 1 Raven, the reinforcements quickly come in. Robinson with a tackler. A man from the University of British Columbia. That's the 15 rush by James Cook on this game. 56 yards in total. It is 2nd and 8. All of the touchdowns have been rushing touchdowns for the Bills. 1 for Ray Davis, 2 from Josh Allen. One of them on the snowplow. Motioning left is Khalil Shakir as he goes to the slot at the left side. 3 receivers left. Ravens send 6 after Allen towards the right side. Wide of Amari Cooper and out of bounds. 3rd and 8 here. And now Josh Allen. Miss Amari Cooper that time around. It was right there, but Cooper may have turned a little too late on that. Allen was anticipating that Cooper would turn around a little earlier, but it was not that time around. All the way wide left is Curtis Samuel. 3 receivers left and 1 to the right. Ty Johnson motions right. Shakir motions right as well, then back left. Ravens send 5 after Allen. Towards the middle, incomplete. Bills calling for a flag, looking for pass interference. Khalil Shakir thought he was interfered with. No flag is out. It'll be 4th and 8, and it'll be a very interesting call where to kick a field goal or not. But Shakir might have been held on the play. How was that missed? Brandon Stephens got away with a penalty there, and now it's going to be Tyler Bass who will kick it. It's 15-20 in the postseason. This is 51 yards from the right hash. The kick is on its way for Bass. He drilled it. Looking to shake off the nightmares of wide right 2. And he has just hit a 51-yarder. Bills wanted 6. They got 3. And the Ravens riding hot in the momentum. They have the ball when we come back. It is a 5-point lead. The Ravens, they can take the lead on a touchdown. They can make things more comfortable with a successful 2-point conversion, but they have not been known to convert 2-point conversions under John Harbaugh as of late. Oh, you scared me.
Well, one thing is clear about Buffalo. They cannot stop the run. The few times they have, I feel more fluky. Because we just saw Derrick Henry run through them like... we just watched him run through them like a beaver goes through a tree.
Oh, that is essentially the comparison. A good one on Darian. Like a beaver going towards a tree and running up that tree.
Actually, here's the better one. He ran through them like a beaver with a buzzsaw.
Right there, you nailed it. And the Rangers, they have once again taken the lead before the second period ended. Chris Kreider with his 15th of the year. Adam Fox and Ryan Lindgren have the assists. The next week, it'll be the AFC Championship game. Chiefs and the winner of this game, I'll be in coverage for that. Game will begin at 6:30 Eastern. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. Only 3 teams remaining in the AFC, the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. Of course, with 3 to 4 quarterbacks you immediately think of when thinking of AFC football. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow's Cincinnati Bengals. We're watching the playoffs from their couches, missing out on a Broncos win at Denver in Week 18. Bills Mafia is loud. They want to see their guys prevail on defense this time around. But the run defense has looked rather all out of place. Tyler Bass will kick it off as a dynamic kickoff that the UFL utilizes. We'll see if the NCAA thinks about utilizing the dynamic kickoff in future years. Could be a good suggestion, it seems. Bass will send it on away. Mitchell and Sims are back deep as they're chanting Seven Nation Army. Touchback here. And the last drive, it's been efficient running. Amazing lightning strikes with Derrick Henry with runs of 17, 15, and 5.
Hey Alex, sorry, I gotta make a quick call. I'll join you if I can.
Gotcha. Right. 12:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. Henry with 58 rushing yards in the second half, after having 21 in the first half. Shotgun set this time around. Bills are going for an extra linebacker, Dorian Williams. Screen for Sims at the left. Epinesa at the tackle after 4 yards. Baltimore is rolling. Let's see if they can roll even more. Continued snow flurries here in Buffalo. The Ravens, they have the momentum, especially on the run. We'll see if this continues on. Sims is in the game as the extra receiver. Josh Allen watching his defense. In past years, the Bills would have excellent defenses, but would this be a year in which is a down year for the defense? Would they shine when the lights are bright? Direct snap to Henry in the Wildcat. Towards the left side, he nearly got the first down. 5 yards before the stop by Daquan Jones. As Lamar Jackson was in motion towards the right side. Wildcat set with Isaiah Likely as a fullback this time. And it resulted in 5 yards. 3rd and 1. Does Babbitt's defense adjust here? Or do the Ravens prevail here on another running situation? You think this will be the ideal spot to run the ball? Ravens are a perfect free for free tonight on 3rd and short. This is an ice set. Bills are preparing for the run. Henry on the handoff. And they stuff him. This is close. But you would think that the Ravens would use the Baltimore beatdown on 4th down. This is amazingly close. They'll mark it 4th and inches. But do remember the Baltimore beatdown that is ever so reliable for the Ravens. As Henry was amazingly close. So close you can almost feel as if it were a heartbeat. Here comes the sneak and it's the first down. Of course, the bread and butter. The Ravens there wanting to take the lead here. Less than 10 minutes to go. Trailing by 5. There is still plenty of game left. A touchdown will get them up by 1. A 2-point conversion after the touchdown will get them up by 3. Then, after that, you would have the Bills having the ball, and you need to account for the fact that the Bills, they have one of the best quarterbacks in the game in Josh Allen. Likely in motion left. You have 3 receivers towards that left, 2 left and 2 right. Run for Hill up the middle. Oliver meets him. Running into that wall, and it's a loss of 1. Oliver and Miller both there at the same time. It'll be a 2nd and 11. Good job by reading that run play for Ed Oliver, the man out of Houston. They forced the 8th play for negative yards for the Bills. This is as good of a defense as you would think it would be. They forced 8 plays for negative yards. Shotgun set with 3 receivers left, and motion right is Sims. Jackson on the play fake. Lamar hurrying up towards the middle, caught by Andrews, making Bernard miss, losing the ball, and Bernard recovers! The 3rd turnover of the game from the Ravens and the Bills. Defense is swarming all over the place. The Mafia is alive as Mark Andrews, right after the catch, tried to go around Bernard. He'll punch it out like he's Peanut Tillman. Bills ball with 8:41 to go when we return. It's the first time in 5 years in which Mark Andrews has lost a fumble. Just the second time this has happened in his career, with Terrell Bernard doing a punch out in the style of Peanut Tillman and recovering that fumble, setting the Bills up at their own 46-yard line. They'll need just 54 yards for more salt onto the wound. Allen backpedaling, now delivers one towards the left side, leading with his head forward for a first down is Mac Hollins, 11 yards on that catch and run. They'll mark it 12 yards officially as Hollins was going one-on-one at that left side on the crosser. Everyone was covered on the right side, but the only one that was open was Hollins. Allen's taking whatever the defense is giving him. And he is doing that to his full and taking full advantage of that. Hollins motions towards the right side. He has functioned as the Bills' deep threat throughout the course of the year. The Gabe Davis replacement in all essence. Up the middle, here comes the running play, and a flag gets in. This will be a penalty as Ray Davis ran for 3 yards. Michigan product David Ojabo penalized for illegal use of hands and hands to the face. The illegal use of hands for hands to the face as he stuck up right on Dawson Knox's helmet. Big no-no there. Buffalo's rolling, and they got momentum right back. Momentum can change in the flick of a wrist. Now at the Baltimore 34. Hollins is motioning towards the right. Humphrey shadowing him, so this is man coverage on the motion. To figure this out. Hollins motions back left onto the transformation. Quick strike to Coleman, and he was immediately hauled down at that right side by Tre'Davious White, the former Buffalo Bill. 25 in white on a different jersey. Next week it's going to be Chiefs, and whoever wins this game, at this rate, with the Bills in front, it could be them. The Ravens are not done just yet, but they are running out of time. Less than 7 minutes to go. 2nd and 5. Each team has 49 offensive plays on the night. 320 to 231 the yards in favor of the Ravens. Allen dumps out for Ty Johnson. Makes a man miss before being ran out of bounds by Roquan Smith. 9 yards that time around. An excellent job by the Bills. As Ty Johnson made one guy miss on the swing pass right. Took the short dump off as Ardarius Washington went sliding at that right side. He had the last touch, so he is credited for the tackle. Clock will stop on all plays once the player runs out of bounds, beginning at the 5-minute mark. We were with 6:12 to go. Allen dumps out for Samuel left side, a shoestring by Hamilton. Limited just 1 yard, but now the concern is on Marlon Humphrey, who is down and is not getting up. And Hamilton is tending to the injured Humphrey, who is shaken up. First team All-Pro and a very reliable corner. An Alabama product, just as it was a block from Mac Hollins in which it took down Humphrey. We will be stepping away here with 5:55. The scene here is Marlon Humphrey is walking on his own power, getting checked into the medical tent for the Ravens. He'll be evaluated for a concussion. He's going to be put in concussion protocol. He was blocked viciously by Mac Hollins. 2nd and 9 here as the Bills are in the red zone again. Hollins motions towards the right. Amari Cooper on the sideline. Cook is a single back. He'll get the rock. Shifting directions up for the middle. Makes 2 guys miss. And it's a yard shy at the first down. 3rd and 1. Here we go. Everyone gets up. 3rd and 1. This drive could decide the game. In all essence, probably ice it with a touchdown. Barring an improbable comeback. Here's the snowplow. You bet. 1st down, Buffalo. As effective as it is. And Josh Allen is a machine when it comes to these situations. It's a variation of the tush push, the snowplow, and the Baltimore beatdown. Also, for the snowplow, what I like to call the Buffalo Rumble. 1st and goal here as they're at the 10-yard line. Hollins all the way to the right. And we see a lot of Amari Cooper. Single back is Cook. Ravens made the gaps. And they're trying to force the Bills to just a field goal. Cook through the middle. Gets 3 yards out of this one, and the Ravens will use their first timeout. A touchdown would basically end it. A field goal will keep the Ravens alive. And they want to force the Bills to just a field goal. That's what's biggest for them. A touchdown extra point puts the Bills up 12. Buffalo is all 3 timeouts. Baltimore's down to 2 after using their first timeout. And how important possession is, if you look at the wild card round, the Bills had the ball for 5 drives in the red zone, resulting in 1 touchdown. Against Baltimore, they have scored a touchdown on all 3 of their previous 3 red zone drives. Now on 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line, let's see if Buffalo can capitalize with a touchdown or if Baltimore can hold firm. 4:21 to play. Lamar Jackson wants to go back to the AFC Championship game and the Ravens as well for the 2nd year in a row. The hunger is there in the eyes. Design QB run towards the right side for Allen. And they shoestring him on time. He does not get to the end zone. 5 yards, the limit, as Nnamdi Madubuike made sure he would fall shy. And the Ravens stop the clock again with another timeout. 4:17 to go. The Ravens are holding on to their last timeout. Buffalo keeps all 3. Now, if this play doesn't go, then you can run more clock down if you're the Bills, and then call timeout once you have 1 second left on the play clock. Sean McDermott is right on the sideline, walking around, seeing his players. They are fired up. They want to go to Kansas City to face the Chiefs for the 4th time in 5 years. The hope is that this will be the time in which they defeat Patrick Mahomes and company. 4:17 to play. Keon Coleman wide up line to the left. This is a rather odd formation for the Bills. This is Josh Allen keeping a hold of it. The Ravens shut him down. No gain on the play. And Buffalo is going to take all the time they need with this to make a decision. To kick or not to kick? That is the question. And Buffalo is preserving that timeout up until 1 second left on the play clock. Sean McDermott is signaling the down judge, Mike Carr, to get right next to him for the timeout signal. It's still rolling right now. As Josh Allen and company are onto the sideline. Curious decision here. You go for it or not, and now the timeout. 3:31 to play. This will be very interesting. If you use the timeout, now you make a decision to kick a field goal. Unlikely you'll get a safety, given how low the Ravens' rushing attack is. But a touchdown would, in all essence, ice this game. Do you take the points, or Do you kick the field goal? So the recommendation from Jim Nantz and Tony Romo is to kick the field goal. And indeed, Tyler Bass is going to go out there to kick a chip shot field goal. This will be from 21 yards out. The first one he made was from 51. The Ravens defense has held firm in the second half. Don't have a bend but don't break defense. Another example of such here, when they denied the Bills in the red zone. And Bass throws it. The Ravens can tie it with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. The Bills need to have their defense get a stop here. They have 3 minutes and 29 seconds. We'll be right back with the Ravens having the ball. Despite the current score, it is a more defensive game than you would think. The Buffalo Bills have totaled 258 total yards and are in this spot more because of their defense. The Ravens have 328 total yards, but they're down by 8 points. Need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They cannot tie it with an extra point. Tyler Bass will kick it off to Keaton Mitchell and Steven Sims Jr. Last year, Sims was on the Texans. That's the only touchdown for the Texans on a punt return touchdown. Mitchell on the run back towards the right side. Mitchell trying to break loose, and he gets beyond the 30-yard line, down at the 32. Flag is out, however, at the end of this play. So this will not be good for the Ravens, as it will force them to start deeper. Chris Board is called for holding. It is offensive holding. So pin them back 10 more yards and force at the Baltimore 22. So they'll have to start from their own 12-yard line. They need 88 yards for the score, as Board clearly held on to Dorian Williams at the left side. It caused him to go down. 3:23 to go. That's how much time they have. They have a timeout and a 2-minute warning. Buffalo, on the other hand, has 2 timeouts. Anthony Miller motions left with Damar Hamlin shadowing him. Trips left, 1 right. That is Mark Andrews drawing the mismatch. Jackson for deep ball towards the left side for Likely, and it's out of reach. Free 18 to play. As Isaiah likely wanted the mismatch one-on-one with Damar Hamlin, he went by Tyron Johnson, one of the better run defenders in the league. However, that ball was a little too far for Likely. And now one of the Bills players is hurt. 2nd and 10. They're examining him over at the sideline. Tyron Johnson, their slot corner, and their best run defender at the secondary. They're checking up on him as he went sliding, trying to tackle Isaiah Likely. And he might have cut his right arm or his right shoulder. Do remember that this surface here is turf. He's trying to get a hold of his shoulder, it seems. Ooh, we'll step away. Johnson's getting checked up at the sideline for any potential injuries to his shoulders, check his wingspan and all. Cam Lewis fills in his place. It is 2nd and 10 as the Bills defense is calling the audible to respond to the audible to Lamar Jackson. Bills send 4 after Lamar. Well protected. There are holes all over the place. Lamar gonna take off and run. He's forced out of bounds. That will stop the clock, and oh my goodness, he went crashing at that bench and hit the heater. Well, not exactly the heater as it was down, but it's very close on it. 8 yards officially as he was forced out by Von Miller. Bills Mafia getting loud here. It's 3rd down and 2. Reggie Gilliam also firing up the Bills crowd. Justice Hill, the running back. You can imagine this may be another passing play. Bills send 4 again. Jackson dumps it off short and a 1st down as the Bills limit Hill to just 3 yards. Do we see the up-tempo offense coming into play? And Josh Allen watching his Bills defense going out there. Von Miller lined up at the right side opposite Roger Rosengarten. 3-man rush this time around. Oliver's double team. Short dump off for Bateman. And he goes under. 3 yards that time. And he is hurt on that play. Whistle blows. Clock stops with 2:34. 2nd and 7 as Bateman got hurt on the play. Zay Flowers went down before the playoffs started. And now the Ravens, if they lose Bateman here, would be huge, knowing that he's their best wideout right now. Nelson Aguilar, Tylan Wallace, Steven Sims Jr. would be the available wideouts. Bateman gets back up and is able to walk off under his own power. So there's a good sign. As they say, no injury timeout as we're not inside the final 2 minutes. 2nd and 7 as Bateman has 4 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. The Flurry starting to stack up here. Aguilar and Wallace are lining up at the right side with Isaiah Likely and with Mark Andrews at the opposite side as the other tight end. It is a double tight end set, shotgun. 1 tight end left, 1 tight end right. Though Likely's lining up as a wide receiver. Motioning left is Wallace. Lamar going to look on 2nd and 7. Taron Johnson back. Lamar serving, throwing it over to Wallace. Got him! Trying to get to midfield and does! They're in the Bills' territory at the 2-minute warning. The escapability of Lamar Jackson is ever so tantalizing. And a move up front by Wallace to take off and run with this on the slant forward. Dynamic. We'll be back. To go. Baltimore is 47 yards away from a touchdown. They'll need that and a 2-point conversion to tie this game up and potentially send it to overtime unless the Bills have something to say about it. They have to have the time remaining. Winner of this game goes to Kansas City to face the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. February 9th is the date of the Super Bowl. That is at New Orleans. The flurries continuing to fall. Ravens have 1 timeout left. Bills have 2. Shotgun set, 2 left and 2 right. Lamar Jackson going to step up. Serving. Going for the short route for Hill. Hill is forced out. Out of bounds after 4 yards. The Ravens stopping the clock here with Hill going out. That's how you get it done. 2nd and 6 on this next play. The Ravens offensive line holding up firm. Trying to undo their own mistakes, in which they have made 5 of them. The 2 drops, the strip sack, and the 2 interceptions. The interception and a fumble after the catch. 2nd and 6, Andrews motioning left, looking to make up for his fumble. Bills get the audible from the deep safety Cole Bishop. Hamlin is a linebacker on this play. Jackson, all kinds of bodies banging up at the offensive line is Andrews, who's forced out the right side. 19 yards. On the right side, a good job at the protection in which the offensive line showcased their worth as Rasul Douglas forced out Mark Andrews. 1:44 to go. If there is a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, of course, you'll give Josh Allen enough time to operate. At the 24, Bills need a stop. Ravens need a touchdown and 2 points. In motion is likely. Lamar, well protected this time. Now the pressure getting to him. Running away to his right side. Lamar going for the home run. Yes, sir! Touchdown likely! The Ravens are 2 points away from a tie game. Jackson was escaping, running for his life before he found Isaiah Likely, who found the smallest hole as he was sliding down. Now the Ravens have to do the hardest part. Convert the 2 points. They have missed on all but one of their 4 2-point conversion attempts throughout the season. The play of the year for the Ravens on the way. Andrews! No, he didn't get it! It was in and out of his hands. And now the Ravens will have to go for the win on the onside kick. Had a drop earlier in this game. Had a ball punched out of his hands as well from Terrell Bernard. And this here, all the way to the right side, Andrews with the most inopportune drop of the night. Ouch, that's gotta sting. Now the Ravens have to go for an onside kick, 133. If the Bills recover, a first down will win it. And you'd imagine that the Ravens are going to tighten their defense. Is Buffalo going to use one of their timeouts so as to account for this onside kick? Everyone's getting lined up. The Ravens, of course, have to declare the onside kick. The Bills are sending their special teams coverage unit to prepare for said onside kick. 93 seconds to go. The kick must be declared, kicking team must be trailing, and it can only occur in the fourth quarter for this year's onside kick criteria. The Bills special teams unit is positioned all around the Baltimore 45. You know, it's going to be tough for the Ravens to recover this. It is short. Douglas is right there. A first down will win it for Buffalo and will send them to Kansas City. All they have to do is that. They are so close, they can taste victory from afar. The clock reset to 132 as it was bouncing, but it was towards the direction of Douglas, who jumped on it. Now the Bills, they can just run the rest of this clock out. The Ravens have to hope to force a fumble on the Bills running backs. Ty Johnson through the middle, breaks free. He is going to ice it. He slides on the first down run. Buffalo will march on. The Ravens used their last timeout, but it will not be of any use now. The Bills hyped up. They'll be traveling to Kansas City to face the Chiefs for the fourth time in 5 years. They are a minute and 18 seconds away. Revenge so close, they can taste it. And 2 kneel downs. That's what it takes. First one down. 1 more to go. The Bills fans all hyped up. The Mafia headed back to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2020. And how poetic will it be to see Mahomes versus Allen, Chapter 9. There are Ravens on the sideline, dejected. They knew that this was their chance. This was their opportunity to prove themselves. And they let those opportunities slip. One final kneel down, and that's it. What a game! The Buffalo Bills will march on! in front of a sold-out crowd at Highmark Stadium. It has gone crazy. It's pandemonium here in the 716. The Bills will head to Kansas City. Call it destiny, call it fate, call it skill, call it luck, call it whatever. Buffalo is the last one to the AFC and NFC title games, and they have earned it in a year in which it was immediately thought to be a down year based on the amount of talent they lost in the offseason. They have shut the doubters up and silenced any doubt of their ability to perform, as they have stunned the Baltimore Ravens 27-25, your final score. As we go on with the final stats for this game, Lamar Jackson in the loss, 18-25 for 254, 2 touchdowns, an interception, a lost fumble to Damar Hamlin on a strip sack. Mark Andrews, who had 5 catches for 61 yards, had a fumble, a loss on a punch out by Terrell Bernard, and 2 drops. Isaiah Likely, 4 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Derrick Henry, 16 carries, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Bateman, 4 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Leading tacklers Kyle Hamilton with 9 for Baltimore. Half a sack each for Nnamdi Madubuike and Kyle Van Noy. That was the only sack of the game for the Ravens. For Buffalo, 2 sacks for them. 1 from Hamlin, the other from Greg Russo. 2 tackles for loss each from Hamlin and AJ Epinesa. An interception from Taylor Rapp set the tone. Von Miller had a scoop up. Khalil Shakir, leading receiver. 6 catches, 67 yards. Josh Allen, 16 carries, 22 yards for 127 yards. Also had 10 carries for 20 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ray Davis, 4 carries, 29 yards. James Cook, 17 carries, 67 yards. And among leading tacklers, Damar Hamlin with 8 has 2 tackles for a loss. That is it from Buffalo. The Bills victorious. They'll be headed to Kansas City. I am Alec Nava saying so long from Orchard Park at Highmark Stadium. Good night, everyone.